Live local breaking news. Welcome to Notre Dame football, presented by Little Caesars Pizza.
Good Saturday night, everyone. We are live on an overcast 51-degree evening at Notre Dame Stadium. Tomorrow is Halloween. The party tonight is in the house that Rockney built, where Notre Dame has handed out mostly losses to the visitors over the last 5 years. And tonight, with their defensive star sidelined, the big names on offense will have to carry the Irish to a 7th win in 8 games. The visitors from Carolina bring a Hall of Fame coach and the preseason ACC Player of the Year, trying to spoil the night in South Bend. It's North Carolina against number 11 Notre Dame, second of 3 straight Irish home games here on NBC. Good evening, everyone. Mike Tirico. We welcome you to Notre Dame football Saturday night here on NBC. So the Irish are 11 in the traditional polls. The first set of college football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. On the way to the college football playoff last year, the Irish and Tar Heels had a top 20 showdown in Chapel Hill that Notre Dame won. A lot of people thought North Carolina would be a better team this year. A little inexperienced. They're 4-3. They're entering their toughest stretch of the season. But they have Sam Howell, a quarterback that a lot of folks are interested in. Could set a couple of Carolina records tonight and has the eyes of some NFL scouts on him. He won with the eyes of Kyle Hamilton, the best Notre Dame defender, out for this game tonight. But this game is also about the coaches we're going to see tonight. In Hall of Famer Mack Brown and future Hall of Famer Brian Kelly, a rare chance to get to see those two legends of the game go head-to-head here tonight. More on their accomplishments when Catherine Tappan joins us. Drew Brees as well, right before kickoff. But first, Jack Collinsworth and Corey Robinson with the U.S. Bank. Countdown to kickoff. Good evening, guys.
Good evening to you, Mike. You mentioned the head coaches, but it was Notre Dame defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman who told us it feels like every week they're planning for a potential game wrecker at wide receiver. So who fits the billing on North Carolina?
Josh Downs, Jack. He is fast. And there's 2 different types of speed. You have beat you down the field speed in a foot race, and then you have catch the ball 5 yards and then end up being tackled 40 yards down the field fast. And he's the latter. We're going to see a lot of that today.
He sees 40%. That is 40% of North Carolina's pass attempts, the highest in the FBS. You see some highlights. Michigan and Michigan State, the battle for Michigan it was. Wolverines have been a run team. This is Cade McNamara's game, 93 yards to Andrell Anthony.
He's a Lansing native, so this is his first career reception in his hometown. What a way to start off your career.
Be careful, though. Sparty has a Heisman Trophy candidate of their own. Kenneth Walker breaking off 58 on 3rd down.
Jack, he was just so automatic. This was just a few yards of his 197-yard day.
2-point conversion was good. It's a tie ball game, but look at this. This is J.J. McCarthy, a 5-star recruit, but a freshman who fumbles. Spartans recover, sets up the 5th touchdown of the day for Kenneth Walker. This could be that Heisman moment for him, having a huge year. As you see the Bunyan Trophy right there, 37-33 the final. Michigan State gets the win right there at home. What a celebration it was. Iowa and Wisconsin, the Hawkeyes, they struggled all afternoon. Ivory Kelly Martin fumbles at the goal line, sets up a layup touchdown.
Critical error. You cannot fumble the ball there, and Graham Mertz takes full advantage of that, walking in for a touchdown.
It was Mertz putting together a 3-touchdown game to knock off Iowa. Can you imagine if Notre Dame quietly ends up with a win over the Big Ten West champions? Who would have thought? Look at Wisconsin go. Here in South Bend, Halloween is in the air. Mike Tirico, Drew Brees, and Catherine Tappan have kickoff under the lights. Up next.
This has been the U.S. Bank Countdown to Kickoff.
Here we go from the final YFF News 4 today.
Really cool scene at Notre Dame Stadium. Lights out for the welcome video for the Irish. His first ever back-to-back primetime games, and the fans with their cell phone lights turned on as the Irish have walked up the stairs. They've left the locker room and they are waiting in the tunnel to come out here and see if they can continue a season where they are 6-1. Maybe not spectacular, but certainly resilient. Notre Dame has been great at home the last 5 seasons. Winners in 27 of their last 28 here at Notre Dame Stadium. And here come the Irish. 60 years old on Monday, so tonight's the first time a Notre Dame football game has been coached by a head coach who was 60 years old. Kyron Williams, junior running back from St. Louis, 180 yards from scrimmage last week against Southern California. And just the third visit to South Bend in the last 50 years for the North Carolina Tar Heels, who play their first road game in a month. Their quarterback is just outside of Charlotte, Sam Howell. We'll be talking a lot about him as the night goes on. We've got some NFL teams here to get a good look at a quarterback who a lot of folks were talking about coming into this season. When we talked to Sam Howell this week, he was excited to talk to Drew Brees. A lot of people compare him to Drew Brees because of size and what he does, and he was so excited to chat with you. So you got a chance to study a guy who the NFL is looking at as well. He's had a good, not a great season. What did you see when you observed?
Well, the first thing that stands out to me is his toughness. He's had to carry a lot of the load in the run game this year after losing 2 running backs to the NFL last year. So that was unexpected, but that toughness definitely sticks out when he runs. He doesn't always slide. He's going to lower his shoulder and get the hard yards. He's got a big arm, so big plays down the field, he can make them, and he executes this air raid offense very well, very decisive in getting the ball out of his hands.
Now, on the Notre Dame defense, he will not see 14 Kyle Hamilton, a knee injury last week. So how will the Irish defend Howell, especially without their best defensive player?
Yeah, well, it's going to come down to Houston Griffith and DJ Brown, 2 safeties that really have a tough job in this game because they have the responsibility of staying deep and not letting anything get over the top, but also being very active in the run game and coming up and making tackles. So, but really, you can't replace a guy like Kyle Hamilton with just one guy. It's going to take the entire secondary together.
We've had a lot of conversation about Notre Dame's offense, and the offensive line isn't that great, and the quarterback situation's unsettled. The receivers are trying to figure it out. One thing we haven't talked enough about is how terrific their running back, Kyron Williams, has been.
He is so consistent, and in my opinion, one of the most complete backs in all of college football. The way he runs the football, he's not the biggest guy, but he runs physical, tenacious, breaks tackles. Most of his yards come after contact. In the passing game, he is such a huge threat in space when he gets out of the backfield, and maybe most importantly, his ability to protect in the passing game, I think, is second to none. It's one of the best that I've seen, and 3 great traits that will help him at the next level.
Absolutely. They'll translate great. We don't usually talk about players, but tonight's about the coaches, too. For more on that, here's Catherine Zappa.
Yeah, Mike, tonight's matchup features 2 of college football's winningest head coaches. That is 70-year-old Mack Brown and 60-year-old Brian Kelly, both going up against one another for just the second time as head coaches. The pair entered today having coached a combined 777 games, both more than 3 decades at the controls. This is the 33rd season for Brown. He is in his second stint at North Carolina. Kelly, meanwhile, he is the winningest coach in Notre Dame history, soaring to rarefied air ahead of Brown and Nick Saban for most victories among active coaches. Now, Kelly told us yesterday the key to maintaining longevity in this business is to be curious, maintaining a balance outside of football, and also understand why you are coaching. Mack Brown, meanwhile, he was a bit more candid with us. He said, coaches are all crazy. They're just sick. But hey, he's still doing it, Mike.
And still loving it, too, and still having a great impact on young men. This North Carolina team, like we said, really tough stretch coming up. Starting here as Mack Brown coaches his 400th all-time game against his good friend, Brian Kelly. About 51 degrees, so comfortable night. We've had rain most of the week. Good strong kicker for North Carolina, Jonathan Kim, one of the best in terms of touchbacks. Chris Tyree, who missed the last game with turf toe, is in one more time for the Irish to return kicks. Set to go, and off we go from South Bend on this Saturday night. And Tyree will let it go, and the Irish will have a long field to get started. So let's take a peek at the Notre Dame offense and our lineups tonight, being brought to you by Hyundai. So Drew talked about Kyron Williams and all the success he has had. 2 touchdowns last week, 9 on the season, 23 in his career. We have focused a lot on the rotating cast up front on the left side for Notre Dame. How about the right side, where an All-America last year in Kane Madden and Josh Lugg have been holding it down. Lugg very consistent throughout this season. Jack Cohn and the Irish will start from the 25-yard line. And hit as he throws and completes it. Avery Davis, they say his knee came down. So the slot receiver, the graduate student, will gain 5. Jack Cohn has started now all 8 games this year, 26 in his career. After the 18 at Wisconsin, where he transferred from in the offseason. Last week against USC, his best passing day he's had since going back to week 2 against Toledo. Officially 5 to Davis on the first carry. And Kyron Williams slithers through the inside for a half dozen. And a first down for the Irish. Took that North Carolina defense. They've got a lot of big plays. Ray Vahasek from Illinois is going to be on the nose, battling Jarrett Patterson tonight. We'll watch the action inside with he and Miles Murphy against this Notre Dame offensive line, which has improved. As the Irish jump the ball and snap from the 36. And Cohn throws it to Michael Mayer, the tight end. He gets 3 yards on that one. Cameron Kelly with the tackle. Tavon Fox, one of 2 brothers. He's a good sack man for the Tar Heels. Jeremiah Gemmel runs the show in the middle. We just saw the tackle from Kelly. Tony Grimes is a rising star from Virginia Beach, the sophomore corner. The first flag of the night.
False start. Offense. Number 62. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And we hear from Dwayne Height, who worked the Notre Dame-Toledo game here in week 2. Week 3, I should say. As Kane Madden from Marshall, where he transferred from, is guilty of the false start. Second and 12, and Cohn's a Kyron Williams out of the backfield. He'll twist him out of bounds around the 40-yard line. So they get back most of the penalty yards there with Cedric Gray on the tackle.
Similar to last week, Mike, versus USC, Notre Dame's coming out with this up-tempo offense. They went into the bye week, really understood that a lot of Jack Cohn's strengths lies in this up-tempo, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. It's a very favorable situation for the offensive line, especially early in the game when you're certainly not trying to allow the defensive line to get pressure when they're fresh.
3rd and 6, Tar Heels bring 4. Hit Cohn, who completed it to Kevin Austin. They took a shot from Kelly, the strong safety, but it's a first down for the Irish at the 47.
A nice job by Jack Cohn here. Just rocking back, simple 3-step drop. Tar Heels defensive line runs a game. They're able to get a free rusher, but that's the thing with the quick tempo passing game is even if you let a guy come free, you can get the ball out of your hands.
Timeout. Notre Dame. They're first.
So a timeout there. 4 of 4 starting for Cohn here in this opening drive. And Drew, let's put some numbers to what you talked about the quick passing game. 2.5 seconds is kind of the Mendoza line of getting it out quick here, right? So there he is, over 2.5 seconds this year. Compare those to this year's numbers, and what a difference, like you were saying.
It's a huge difference, and not just in the completion percentage. Obviously, he's a very intellectual guy, and here he is coming as a graduate transfer from Wisconsin. He's played a lot of football. So coming in this offense, there is that learning curve of learning the new offense, but it was really just Tommy Rees, Coach Kelly, just really developing that rapport with him and understanding what his strengths were and where he, really putting him in the best positions to succeed. And I think we noticed time after time, whenever we get in the 2-minute drill, he would just go up and down the field, completion after completion. It's like, hey, well, let's turn our offense into more of this up-tempo offense. We can do that with our normal plays as well.
Do what he does best. George Chakas is the other tight end who's in. So a couple of tight ends over there to the right. Kyron Williams starts that way, swerves back, gains about 5 yards. I realize I said the Mendoza line. I can only get away with that during the World Series. A whole bunch of people listening have no idea. And no, I'm not talking about the Mendoza Business College here at Notre Dame, which is one of the most respected in the country academically. But Mario Mendoza, middle infielder, who hit around 200 back in the 70s. Williams on the carry, no gain. Well, 3rd and 6 coming up. And this is weird. We talk to people all the time. They've got a great sense of football. We talk to the Notre Dame coaches. Ask about this North Carolina defense. It's really hard to categorize what they do defensively.
Yeah, it is. They're a 3-4 base structure, meaning you typically have 3 big bodies that play on the defensive line as a true nose guard, and these defensive ends that are 2-gap players. In other words, they play over the tackles, and they're just meant to, hit the tackle and then 2-gap.
3rd and 6 here. Cohn's got a pocket for the moment. Nothing open, and he's brought down and sacked. So a little bit of extra pressure as they brought 5 and get home. Vlahosic pushed the pocket, and it'll force a punt.
Yeah, this is where Notre Dame's got in trouble. Obviously, this is 3rd down, but whenever Jack Cohn has held the ball, a lot of times the pocket is collapsed around him, doesn't have a check down, doesn't have an outlet, and he's not the most mobile guy. So 3rd and 6 there. You had different route concepts going down the field. That's one where, hey, you're hanging in trying to find a guy open.
Kamen Rucker will probably get set for credit for that sack. Dave Bramley kicks it away. Josh Downs will let it go, and it goes all the way to the end zone. It's a touchback, a 51-yard punt. The net is 31, and that's Sam Howell. And he's got Mac Brown's offense on the field when we come back to South Bend.
It is time for the final.
Ready between 4 and 8.
Pizza, pizza.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Little Caesars. Get the lowest priced pizza delivered, guaranteed. By U.S. Bank, we'll get there together. And by Gillette, the best a man can get. First time these teams met in 1949 at Yankee Stadium. Notre Dame, during that time, played a lot of games at Yankee Stadium. They beat the Tar Heels 42-6. Notre Dame Army evolved into a major rivalry in large part for their play at Yankee Stadium from 1925 to 1946, most every year. Army Notre Dame was played at the house that Ruth built. First drive for North Carolina, their quarterback Sam Howell. In from the 20, first run is Ty Chandler, transfer from Tennessee. And a gain of 7 for Chandler, who has done good work in this role. But the star of this offense is Josh Downs. He's targeted almost 2 out of every 5 passes that Sam Howell throws. And up front, veteran group, Joshua Izudu is the most talented one, the left guard. 2nd and 3, and spaces Chandler. He will keep the legs going and be just short of a first down. We'll have 3rd and short. So I gave you some of the headlines on Howell, record-setting quarterback. He's from just outside of Charlotte, Indian Trail, North Carolina. A quarterback who was the ACC Freshman of the Year, and had a very good sophomore season. Not the same numbers yet this year, but see that school record already for passing touchdowns, and he's been responsible throwing, running, and receiving for 99 touchdowns in his career.
Yeah, he's really had to be more of the run game this year. You know, he lost 2 wide receivers last year to the NFL, lost 2 running backs to the NFL, so he's really had to carry that load for the offense.
3 tight ends. Garrett Walston moves over to the left. Some confusion here and a timeout.
North Carolina, their first timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
So each team has used an opening drive timeout. We're back in 30 seconds.
This is Antonelli's Cheese Shop.
And we're the
See North Carolina's numbers, 10th among the FBS schools and leading the ACC. Converting about half their 3rd downs, and this is 3rd and short. That man is DJ Brown. He's the one replacing Kyle Hamilton, the Irish All-American. On the run inside, first down will be gained by Ty Chandler out to the 31-yard line. So let's check out that Irish defense. Isaiah Foskey sneaking up the sack ranks, 8, threatening the single-season record, which is Justin Tuck, 13.5. Drew White's been dealing with a shoulder. We may see more of Bo Bauer in the lineup for the Irish. And on the Sunday starting lineups, DJ Brown, as mentioned, in for Hamilton. Figured to see the Irish in a lot of 5 defensive backs. Hamilton's got an earpiece, and he's charting. He's going to be working. He's not just going to be watching on the Notre Dame sideline tonight. 31, pressure comes. Howell delivers. Complete for a first down. Justin Olson with his 2nd catch of the year and his first career start against Miami. It's a first down gain of about 6.
I think we're going to see a lot of up-tempo from both these offenses tonight, Mike.
So it's a talk quick night? Is that what you're telling me?
That's right. Not a lot of time between plays tonight.
I will give you the most possible time. I'll be on the ball here for you. 2nd and 4. The pressure is picked up, and there's Howell taking off on the run across the 45. DJ Brown will bring his progress down to 46.
This is what Sam Howell has been really good at this year, and this has been a big part of their offense, is these designed quarterback draws. So they bring the running back across the block, linebacker, they sift the tackle out to pick up any trash coming from inside out, and Sam Howell takes off, and he's had a lot of explosive runs this year on those plays.
Yeah, look at that. Averages over 10 yards, give you a first down almost every designed run. From the pocket here, he takes off. He's not going to go too far. Nano Safo-Mensah, the junior from Fort Worth, Texas. Very good field awareness we've watched in his snaps this year. It's a loss of 1.
Yeah, he had his eyes on Josh Downs, obviously his favorite target, accounting for over 40% of the targets amongst all the wide receivers for North Carolina. He wasn't open in the middle of the field, and a lot of times they don't really have checkdowns for him. His checkdown is to take off and run.
So 2nd and 11, and Howell will read it and give it to Chandler, and Ty will only gain a yard or 2, so we'll have a 3rd down coming up. Riley Mills was in there. That's Phil Longo. Had a great visit. Both of us were talking to him on the field. 53 years old, his 6th stop. He's orchestrating from the sideline. The offensive coordinator for the Tar Heels.
You know, this up-tempo can really stress the defense, especially on 3rd down.
He's got nobody with a hand on the ground. 5 lurking and standing and waiting. How many are coming? 4 of them. Howell looks for the running back on Bo Bauer. And Chandler has it broken up by Bauer. Terrific job by Bauer, who didn't waste a step by diagnosing it. And North Carolina will kick it away.
Watch Ty Chandler, free release out of the backfield. Bo Bauer has a tough job. He was mugged up in the A-gap and having to run and chase Ty Chandler. Ball's underthrown a little bit, but he does a great job. He can't see the ball thrown, but he sees the receiver open up his hands. He plays the hands, knocks the ball out. Really nice play by Bo Bauer.
Kyron Williams awaits the junior from Dublin, Ireland. Then Kiernan, who got run into as he was rolling out for that rugby kick. Williams took it on a bounce. There's a lot of open space here. He's going to pick up a block. Remember, a flag is down as Williams comes down the sideline and gets pushed out at the 40-yard line. Kiernan from Dublin, Ireland, but went to high school in the Raleigh area. Took it, rolled out with the rugby kick. And here's
there is no foul on the play for running into the kicker. The kicker went outside the tackle box. First down, Notre Dame.
Terry McCauley, our 3-time Super Bowl official, is with us back in our studio, and he's nodding his head up and down. Says that was a correct call. That's why we pointed out it was a rugby kick. He was on the move. Thus, no flag, and a good return for Williams of 40 yards.
Night football on NBC and Peacock.
Bring Terry McCauley in. Good call here, Terry?
Absolutely, Mike. The referee was correct. Once he gets outside the tackle box, there's no running or roughing the kicker. So it was a good no call, good flag pickup on this one.
Isaiah Foskey touched the ball, but he wasn't the man who hit him, so that doesn't mean you're allowed to hit him because the other guy touched it from the one who made contact.
Correct, Mike.
Thank you, Terry. Great stuff. 41-yard line. The Williams punt return holds up. It's in the hands of Braden Lindsey. Quickly moves to the left side for 3, and Cedric Gray. Brilliant sophomore linebacker with great speed brings him down. Cedric Gray on the tackle. Ball to 38,
I really look for Notre Dame's offense to try to find a way to get the ball to Michael Mayer. He's been such a huge part of the offense up until he got hurt. Last couple games, you feel like it's been slow coming back, but he's a guy who I think will have a really good matchup inside with a lot of attention, obviously, on Kyron Williams and these corners locked on the outside receivers.
38 to give to Williams inside for 4 yards, 34 to bring up 3rd down and 3. Jack Cohn so far 5 for 5 to 5 different targets, but all short gains. And he'll come out now, and Tyler Buckner, the freshman from San Diego, will come in. Buckner played 11 snaps in the game last Saturday night against Southern California. Short 3, and Buckner will read it and let Williams take it, and Kyron will get the first first down on the edge. At the 28-yard line, Cameron Kelly, the safety with the tackle.
I mean, they really used Buckner last week, I think, the way that they want to, which is not to try to create a spark or feel like your offense is stagnant. Hey, let's put Buckner in. Really more as a complement to the run game. It's a totally different offensive scheme when he's in there, and a lot of explosive plays have come when he's been in the game.
First down, giving again to Williams to the 23-yard line, 24-yard line. He had it for Tom Reese, the offensive coordinator. You said it so well. Tommy's really happy. Feels like it's happening as they're dictating it, not going to a relief pitcher when you're making a quarterback change. This time Buckner pulls it, keeps it, tries to get to the edge, and Buckner with a stiff arm out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. Gain of 14 and an Irish first down.
Yeah, and this is really where Tyler Buckner's strength lies. When he can pull this ball with a lead blocker, use his speed to get to the edge. Again, a lot of explosive plays have come this year with Buckner outside the pocket. About 215 pounds. He runs the ball, pretty physical. You never really see him slide, and he's lowering his shoulder as well.
The Buckner run of 14, longest play of the night, first and goal Irish. The confusion here, the Irish have to take a second timeout in the opening quarter.
Timeout. Notre Dame. Their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
You know, it's interesting. Whenever Buckner comes in the game, it's always a mystery as to how many plays he's going to stay in.
Right.
You know, last week was probably the fewest number of snaps we've seen him since the Toledo game when he first made an appearance. But you know, we talked about the flow and the rhythm that Notre Dame offense is trying to create. Jack Cohn is the starter. They've gone to more of this up-tempo passing game with him. They ran the ball very well last 2 weeks versus Virginia Tech and USC. They'd like to continue that, but there's just this whole other element that's created with the run game and with the vertical passing game when Buckner's in, because they're going to have success running the ball, and then it's a matter of being able to take advantage of some of these matchups outside when the defense starts to really compress and really start to defend that run.
Jack Cohn will now come back in. It was interesting. You saw there was confusion there. Kyron Williams, we talked about his great abilities as you set up at the open. Also his understanding and awareness. He was right there too. Noticed something was askew and called timeout. Cohn, design run. Cohn, quarterback draw. He'll go down to the 2-yard line. He's bummed. He knew he had an opportunity there. Not known for his running ability, and they're going to jump the ball quick.
You talk about the ultimate changeup here, right? You pull out the running quarterback, you put back in the drop back passer, and then you call a QB draw. I love it. I love it.
For a second and goal, we have a flag with movement inside. That's going to look like it'll back up Notre Dame 5 yards.
Illegal snap. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's two of the steadier guys up front for the Irish. Jared Patterson, the center, and Kane Madden, the guard, with 5-yard procedure infractions. And Buckner comes back in for the Irish.
Well, if this drive is any indication as to the way the rest of the offensive series are going to be with Notre Dame, this could be an interesting night. This is a lot of shuffling in and out with quarterbacks.
I think both teams have got the 11 out there that they want. Second and goal, Buckner, the quarterback for Notre Dame. He will whip it out. And it's a walking touchdown for Avery Davis.
So this is what Tyler Buckner does for you. Look at what just his presence in the backfield does to this defender. That defender is frozen, thinking that Buckner's in the game, it's going to be a run. So he aborts his responsibility of walking out over the receiver, Avery Davis. Easy touchdown for the Irish. They've got 2 blockers to block 2 defenders. Walks in the end zone.
Chris Collins was an observer, and he watched Davis go into the end zone. Jonathan Dorr adds the extra point for the Irish. So a couple of timeouts taken, a little unsteadiness, but the good punt return set him up, and Avery Davis took it in. 7-0 Notre Dame.
To live is to ask the
Top 5, top of the table. in the Premier League. United got back to winning ways today. City lost. So United and City, the Manchester Derby, next Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern on NBCSN. This is the scene nearby Legend Park in Mishawaka, Indiana. I don't know who, but it was voted, I'm told, by our staff, the best haunted house in the entire state of Indiana.
The entire state?
Yes. People went to every haunted house, apparently. It's like the college football rankings, and that's the best. After the Davis touchdown, North Carolina takes the kickoff and brought back just shy of the 20-yard line. We're all over the coverage of DJ Jones trying to return it. There'll be a long field coming up. Top Performance is brought to you by Mercedes EQ. Let's dial you back to a wild one. The last time these teams met here, Will Fuller, 35 yards, scrambling to the end zone, 35-26. Marquise Williams, a quarterback who we will see on the record list that Sam Howell may pass him here tonight for a couple of records. He had a touchdown, but Folston had a couple of late runs. Everett Golson threw for 300 yards, 50-43 in what was the highest scoring game this stadium has seen. Over 1,000 yards back the last time these two schools met here at Notre Dame Stadium. Design run here. Howell takes off. Half the Irish defense around him, but Howell still on a designed run with a good game. Mark with the 26.
Those are those tough yards we've been talking about, Mike. Fakes the speed sweep, following his lead blocker, who's the running back. Getting those hard yards.
Not much yet for Josh Downs. I know it's only the second drive for North Carolina, their 10th play coming up here. But their busiest and best receiver has not been seen or heard from. Keep it on the ground, and DJ Jones running the first down. Seen a little bit more in the last few games, this sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
You know, they talked about really wanting to establish their presence in the run game. You saw it last week, which to me was a little bit surprising. USC was able to run the ball pretty effectively against this Notre Dame front. Started off the game just 3 and 4 yards a pop. It ended up being 5 and 6 as the game went on. Certainly feels like that's part of the strategy here for North Carolina tonight.
Motion from Downs, fake from Howell, takes a shot downfield, and it's caught. Second time for Justin Olsen. So he only had one catch all season against Georgia State. He's got 2 in the first quarter in South Bend.
Yeah. So here comes Downs in motion. They're going to fake the sweep to him, but look what this does to the defenders. Howell gets his eyes around. Really nice job identifying that deep over route.
Howell pulls it and keeps it. Houston Griffith is there for the first tackle. Griffith, 3, and DJ Brown, 2, are the 2 safeties who have to make up for Kyle Hamilton. We got a chance to visit with both of them yesterday. They got comfortable pretty quickly against USC when Hamilton went out in the early part of the first quarter.
They did. They're 2 guys that have really gotten a lot of snaps, and so they do have experience. And I'd say just overall, this secondary now has really found their rhythm playing together. I think their roles have been really established, and I always felt like the secondary is a unit that really has to play together. It's not a bunch of one-on-one matchups. It's really those guys working together.
I don't think I've ever seen.
We'll get to the food quickly at the end of the second quarter because both teams are now down to 1 timeout. Carolina just took their second timeout, and I heard somebody with the mic open on one of the officials. I've never seen that, and I agree. I've never seen 4 timeouts taken for lining up issues in the opening quarter. So Mac Brown's team is 4-3. I mentioned there's a little bit of a transition going on from the experience. Players lost, some good recruiting classes. That's what they've done the first 7 games. Look at what is coming up for this team. Tough schedule. Good teams the next 3 games. And not only that, it's in a short window as well because that Pittsburgh game is on a Thursday night. So it's 3 games in 13 days. And don't sleep on Wake Forest. They're 8-0. They won again today, 45-7. 677 yards of offense for Wake today against Duke. That's what the Tar Heels will see next Saturday. And a timeout, 2nd and 3. DJ Jones gets 1. Well, 3rd down coming up.
Certainly trying to establish the run in this game thus far, Mike. Get them into these third manageable situations. These are the situations you want to be in against Notre Dame, this Notre Dame front.
10 runs, 3 passes so far for the Heels. And movement, back him up 5.
Ball start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Senior Jordan Tucker, the right tackle. North Carolina, like the last 4 Notre Dame opponents, did not play last week. Coming off a bye, the game before that, they beat Miami 45-42. In a wild game. Miami's kind of finding its way a little bit. Manny Diaz's team beat Pitt earlier today in Western Pennsylvania. 3rd and 7.
Looks like you've got Downs man-to-man right here.
Now, going 2 downs. Able to bring it in. Downs inside the 10. He'll be down at the 5-yard line. The big play offense hits for 42.
Watch the way they run this. Downs patient off the line of scrimmage. Receivers running slants in there to try to pick the nickel defender. They actually did, which is what created that separation for Downs.
And Howell on the keeper will be stopped right around the 2-yard line. They blow his forward progress. That will end the quarter. Carolina lucky to get away with no offensive pass interference on that one. End of the quarter here in South Bend. The big shot to Downs from 42 yards as Carolina trying to tie it. Notre Dame leads 7-0 back for Notre Dame football after this message from your local station. Notre Dame football presented by Little Caesars Pizza.
With 2 clubs vying.
News 4 on Facebook.
Aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. North Carolina close to the end zone at the 3-yard line.
So Josh Downs is here. Morales is here. Watch him rub the nickel as he runs his route. Actually makes a collision, which should have been pass interference, but that's what springs Josh Downs free and gives him the separation on that route. A good rub concept, but obviously you can't make contact with the DB.
And Ty Chandler runs it in around the right side from 3 yards out. And North Carolina is an extra point away from a tie game. 2nd and goal, and Chandler uses his speed to the pylon. Yep, crosses the plane before the foot comes down. Correct call there, and Chandler runs it in for the 8th time this year. Carolina an extra point away from tying this one up. Fans are looking at the scoreboard. They're seeing how close it was. They're not showing the
rolling on the
angle.
field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
And so they will go back and look at that. So we'll give you one more look. Front of the pylon, so the closest part to him. This is the angle that gives you a really good look. Called on the field, a touchdown. There you go. It's inside the pylon. The foot's not down yet. That is a touchdown. Terry McCauley, I'm not going to waste your time with that, but can we go back to the play that Drew just drew up the big pass downfield to Downs? Was that offensive pass interference?
Absolutely, Mike. The receiver is responsible for avoiding contact. He turns into the defender and creates the contact. Had he just gone vertical and as Drew said, rubbed, it would have been legal. But once he turns in and makes that contact with the defender, it's offensive pass interference.
You get a look as Drew just drew for you and for Terry. Kamari Morales there. And Downs does a good job here juggling the ball on the way down and finally getting it settled to get in.
And then they're playing quick, so they get up to the line of scrimmage quickly. Confusion by Notre Dame. They're outnumbered up top. Quick flip to the running back. He's able to get to the edge because they're 1 man short. I'll be honest, we stole that play with the Saints from somebody, ran it about 3 times for touchdowns, and I've seen it quite a few other times.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
The outnumbered play up there?
Yeah, it's a copycat league, Mike. They're stealing plays everywhere.
So the touchdown is confirmed, and Chandler from Nashville with a very good career at Tennessee, and he's this year at North Carolina, and he's headed to the Tar Heels offense given what they lost. 2 terrific backs. He gets the touchdown. Grayson Atkins, his 32nd extra point of the year. And 5 seconds in, we are all tied at 7. That's good news for Carolina fans on a trip to South Bend, which has been a personal house of horrors over the years for the Tar Heels. Army's got a poor record here. So does Miami. You're talking about the teams that have played at least 9 games here. Indiana as well, but nobody as bad as the Tar Heels. 0-12. North Carolina's record. They had a bunch of meetings in the heyday of the Irish back in the late 40s, early 50s. That's where most of that 0-12 has been built. Visiting here for the first time in 7 years, but it's a different time. And Catherine gave you the story at the top of the game with Mac Brown, who came back here, winning his coach at North Carolina, had that incredible run, 158 wins, national championship at Texas, College Football Hall of Famer. But then wanted to get back in. He only wanted to do it at the right place as that ball touches inside the goal line, and it is a touchback, and this was the right place. There's no more personable coach in football than Mac Brown, and so when he was at Texas, this guy was at high school at Westlake in Austin. So you were kind of trying to find a place, and tell us a story about you and Mac Brown.
Well, he was such a joy to talk to. So I went to Westlake High School in Austin, Texas. I remember going on a trip during spring break of my junior year to visit some of the East Coast schools. He was actually at North Carolina at the time. So I'm in the North Carolina football office with a VHS tape. Yes, I said a VHS tape of my highlights. Handed it to Mac Brown and said, "Hey, Coach, I hope you'll recruit me. I know I'm a 6 foot, 170 pounds with a big knee brace on my knee right now, but I don't blame him for not recruiting me. I wouldn't have recruited me either." But he ends up at University of Texas in 1998, and we're at an FCA dinner together.
Right.
And he looks at me and he says, "Drew, had I been here at UT, I never would have let you out of the state." I said, "Well, Coach, actually, we've met before."
I tried to get to you at North Carolina.
That's right.
What a great story. Lorenzo Styles, the catch. It was a gain of 9 to the ground for Logan Diggs. So back-to-back freshman touches here for the Irish, and they get a first down to the 38-yard line. Brian Kelly and his offense getting more freshmen involved as you go through the season. Diggs, obviously the offensive line with the 4 different left tackles, 3 of them freshmen, including Joe Alt. Cone taking a look deep downfield, and Kevin Austin couldn't bring it in. He had a step on Jaquarius Conley. The nickel could not connect.
Just off the fingertips. You know, he had one last week. Similar to that, you'd love to be able to make that play.
First incompletion of the night for Cone. It's 2nd and 10. 5 of the pattern, protected. Avery Davis, the touchdown earlier, is right at the line for a first down at the 48-yard line.
Avery Davis, not a guy who gets a ton of attention in this offense. We talk a lot about Kyron Williams, talk a lot about Michael Mayer, but he's a guy who could really create some matchup issues for North Carolina. You know, they've got these big, long corners outside. They really like to press, play man coverage. There's matchup opportunities inside with both the slot Avery Davis and at the tight end position for Notre Dame.
Irish now bring Deion Colsey, so both freshman receivers are in the lineup. Colsey and Styles, who's in motion, and another freshman on the carry, it's Diggs. Right to midfield for 2. Diggs from Marrero, Louisiana. He's the 22 running back. The recruiting process saw him first at Virginia Tech. Came in a very key spot when Chris Tyree was out with turf toe. He was getting the first looks behind Kyron Williams here tonight. 2nd and 8. Avery Davis again. Good move in space. And another. Davis still goes to the 30-yard line. 20 and a first down for the graduate student from Cedar Hill, Texas.
A really, really poor coverage concept by North Carolina. The nickel is responsible for that flat area. He also has some run responsibilities, so any type of play fake is going to freeze him and open up that flat area for any route.
Michael Mayer connects for about 7 yards. Good first down toss to Mayer. who you would target a whole bunch, wouldn't you?
He would be number 1 or 2 in every progression. He's such a matchup problem. He's so good run after the catch as well. So really, look at both inside receivers as we look at it right now. It's Michael Mayer, it's Avery Davis. I think these two guys are keys to victory today for Notre Dame.
Taking a shot sideline as Colsey tried to come back. And he was covered. It's incomplete. Tony Grimes was over there. But there was a play earlier where Braden Lenzy took a big hit, and we saw him come to the sideline. And after that, we were seeing more of these freshman receivers, and I don't think I've seen Lenzy since, as Tyler Buckner comes back in. So Notre Dame receiving core that saw Lawrence Keys leave the roster and Joe Wilkins injure his knee and go out for the season. Going deeper into the roster. Buckner, the QB, on 3rd and 2. Freshman gives to fellow freshman. Look at Diggs for the first down to the 17. Catherine Tappan?
Yeah, Mike, Braden Lenzy was being evaluated in the trainer's tent on the sideline for Notre Dame. He currently is out of that tent. His gloves are both off, and he is still being evaluated for an injury. Mike?
Okay, Catherine, thanks. That was the play that we saw Lenzy. It was just a catch for 3 yards, and then he looked to be shaken up and was over on the sideline. Does a little bit more of the freshman. 1st and 10, it's still Buckner at quarterback. Designed run. And North Carolina waiting for him. Gain of about 2 yards. Drew, isn't it funny every time we talk to defensive coordinator on the opposite side of the Irish, they talk about, yeah, well, when 12 gets in, it's a little bit different.
It's definitely a little bit different. You have to be so fundamentally sound, gap sound with your run schemes, because he can hand it off, he can pull it and run, but you typically are in a situation where you're going to have enough blockers for defenders, and that's what makes it so hard to defend, because then somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to win against their block, and then his ability to throw the ball vertically at times will scare a defensive coordinator.
Kyron Williams comes back in, a bunch to the right. 2 tight ends and Avery Davis. And they're all blocking for Kyron Williams. A good play coming over for Jeremiah Gimmel. We talked to Gimmel this week, the senior from Newman, Georgia. He is the leader of that defense. If you hear a defensive call, Gimmel knows his role and the role of the other 10 guys as well.
He is, and he is a fast flow linebacker, sideline to sideline. So any of these balls that are on the perimeter, he can chase them down. He's also one of these guys that if we get to a point in the game where it's kind of a you check, recheck situation, offense looking to the sideline for a check, he's a guy who has the ability to check the defense based on what he's seeing as well.
So his grandpa, Rick, in the stands watching. Rick was his coach in Pee Wee football on through. Blood on the hand of the quarterback, Cone, as he's pressured, scrambles out of space, will just bench it and get rid of it and bring up 4th down. So Carolina doing a good job there. You saw Jack Cone, that left hand, a little bit bloody.
This was just good coverage all the way around. Tight man-to-man coverage. Everybody's gloved up. Jack Cone might have had the shallow cross, but he had to get outside the pocket and get rid of it.
There's Cone's cut between the 1st and 2nd quarter. Sam Howell is getting a cut on his left hand, looked at as well. 31-yard field goal coming up for Jonathan Dorr. Out of the hole to Jay Bramlett. And the Michael Vincent snap. And the operation works. 5 minutes into this 2nd quarter, so a 1/3 of the way through the game here in South Bend. Now the Irish are back on top by 3.
When you're driving a Lincoln, stress seems to evaporate into thin air, which leaves us to wonder, where does it go?
Toast to Notre Dame football by raising a pint of Guinness. Now a proud partner and official beer of Fighting Irish alumni and fans. Please drink responsibly.
3 home games in a row for Notre Dame. Navy next week in the afternoon, late afternoon here in South Bend. Notre Dame has scored on back-to-back drives, touchdown and a field goal. The lead is 3. One out from 3 yards deep. Interesting decision, not a good one by Japarius Conley, the nickel, who also returns kicks. He'll be out at the 15-yard line. Here's Catherine.
Well, Ty Chandler totaled over 2,000 rushing yards in 45 games at Tennessee, so I asked him why the transfer to UNC. He told me he was looking for a new opportunity. He knew UNC had a great team and wanted to play for Mac Brown. So I said, well, now that you're a Tar Heel, what stands out about Coach Brown? And he said, man, he is straightforward, encouraging, and he pushes me to be the best player that I can be.
Well, he had a good run, as we were talking about earlier at Tennessee, and you see the numbers there, 5th in school history in all-purpose yards. And there was an opening here. Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, who are both in the NFL with the Broncos and Jets, respectively. You know there are yards to get in this offense. And in the air, too, Bryson Nesbitt, rarely used freshman tight end, comes in, and with a nice gain out to the 35, Nesbitt's first grab of the year.
Yeah, you were waiting to see some of these naked bootlegs, tight ends or receivers out in the flat. They've run the ball effectively thus far. Really have not done much in the drop-back passing game yet, but I would look to see that as well as some shot opportunities and some of these play actions as well.
Just 18 snaps in the first 7 games for Nesbitt. So out of the bye week, more players involved on the offensive side for North Carolina. It's the player Catherine was just talking about, Chandler. No real gain on that one. We talked about it multiple times. Josh Downs, who had the big catch for 42 yards on the last drive, he's the player who everybody keys on. He's gotten 2 out of every 5 Tar Heel passes this year. So they're spreading it around a lot more in the first third of this game.
They are, and they're moving Josh Downs around a lot. He's in the slot a lot, but they're moving him in motion, really window dressing, kind of a piece of cheese almost to distract the defense at this point.
Is pressured. He'll get out of that. He's so good getting out of space. And Downs with a nice block as he picks up a first down with Houston Griffith pushing him out of bounds at the 45.
You just don't know how valuable this is. Great pressure by Notre Dame's front here, but Hal's ability to get through maybe 1-2 in a progression, field pressure. He's still a passer. His eyes are still down the field, but he has the ability to make defenders miss and go get a first down for you. He's done it so many times this year. It's been a huge part of this offense's success thus far.
Number 45 chased down from behind that time is Chandler by Myron Tagovailoa Amosa, the captain for the Irish, who has moved to an outside position this year, has had a big impact this season.
Nice job by Myron, but also a good job by Drew White scraping around, because that's going to prevent the quarterback from pulling it. Excuse me, Kurt Heinisch. And then running it down from behind.
Halfway through the quarter, 2nd and 12 for Howell. Here comes pressure with White. It's picked up, and Howell takes off, making the first man miss again, and then banged to the sideline that time. They set up 3rd down. Clarence Lewis, the corner, got off of coverage to stop the quarterback.
Tar Heels have done this a couple times now. You bring the back across, and then loop the tackle down the field. Let Sam Howell run and get what he can. 3rd and long, this place is going to get loud. They're going to have to really communicate well here.
Nobody with a hand on the ground. The Irish bring 4 again. Howell hit as he throws to the sideline, caught. Antoine Green, who has been the 2nd option in terms of a receiver, brings that in at the 39 for a first down.
Can't tell you how many times we've seen Sam Howell stand in the pocket, take a hit like this, and deliver a ball down the field. It's one of his great strengths. He's got a really strong arm. Anticipated that throw well. Nice catch.
Rolled his body over, kept it on top. Keep the grab going. No gain for Chandler on the run there. We'll get 2nd down coming up. That's Green. You saw him get that last reception from Howell. He struggled with injuries. They've really hoped he would fill some of that void, as we were talking about the playmakers that have been missing. Daz Newsome was here a couple of years ago with Chicago in the NFL. So you got Williams, Carter, and Neeson. Very good players. Since Mac Brown has gotten here, they're gone, and some younger players now filling those roles. Howell had a double clutch. Downs able to get it on time. Got a terrific block, and another one downfield. Downs down the sideline. Inside the 10 will be first and goal for North Carolina.
Great screen. Watch the tackle. Seal the nickel right there. Tariq Bracy. Downs catches it just inside him. And man, just get the ball in this guy's hands. There's a lot of big bodies in there, but with his quickness and agility, he's able to get it back outside to the other side. Huge play for the Tar Heels.
First and goal, Carolina from the 7. Inside give Chandler, couldn't get his footing, and he's down to the 5-yard line. Just that little step, that little crease for Downs, who comes in third in the country in receptions, and you see second most FBS receiving yards coming on into tonight's game after the catch. He's 7th total. Howell's so tough to defend down here with his running ability, and there he goes. Howell to the end zone, but a flag down. Flag down with a hole opened up. So put a pause on the celebration.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Marcus McKeithen, the senior, right guard.
So right here, let's watch this unfold. Really a great play design and very hard to defend, but ends up grabbing Adamalola there, preventing him from spinning to make that play. Good call by the referees.
Good job by Jason to get as wide as possible.
That's right. They're holding me.
So second and goal from the 16 now. Now 5 options. Throws it inside. Wright will have to tackle here at the 11-yard line. Forward progress will be marked as Green catches his second on this drive. Fast moving half. 4.5 till halftime.
This is one of those tough situations because it's 3rd and 11 at the 11, right? So 3rd and goal. You certainly want to try to score a touchdown, and yet you've got points. So don't be surprised if you see a pass underneath, some sort of a shallow cross, maybe even a screen, maybe even a quarterback draw. Notre Dame appears to be playing man-to-man across the board, but with 2 safeties. So they might be looking to bracket. I'm sure they're going to try to double Josh Downs.
From the 11, pressure, and Howell is sacked. Foskey with the penetration, along with Justin Ademilola and Jason Ademilola. They get back to Howell and bring him down. They'll set up a field goal.
Watch Foskey right here on the edge. Just beats him with speed. Great get off, power. We've seen that so many times this year, especially in critical situations, 3rd downs. He just pins those ears back and go gets the quarterback.
Ademilola was getting there too. We'll see how they officially credit that sack. They'll probably split. Here's Grayson Atkins. His misses have been from longer range. 39-yarder to tie the game. And he knocks that through, and we have a 10-10 ball game. Grayson moving quick. Good game. 3:22 till the break here in South Bend.
Game good. Gillette.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. Pumpkin carving finishing up for folks. They get to celebrate the day. We thank Randy Finch from the Food Network show Ice Brigade.
Wait, who is that?
That would be all of us.
Yeah.
That would be all of us.
I mean, next to a Hall of Fame bust and Mount Rushmore, I think that rounds out the top 3 right there.
You're slow. We're going to start with the pumpkin carving.
That's
the
right.
Hall of Fame bust is about 4.5 years away. Mount Rushmore, you have to see somebody else about that. I'll help you there.
We're going to work our way up.
Jonathan Kim with a touchback. That was so funny. I need more opportunities to catch myself here. We have to go back to break.
December 2nd on NBC.
Tomorrow, Martinsville and the Championship 4 will be set as the NASCAR playoffs at the penultimate event. 2 o'clock Eastern, right here on NBC. Stream it on Peacock. It's Martinsville tomorrow, Phoenix a week from tomorrow. Kyle Larson's been unstoppable. He's won both here in the round of 8. You see everyone chasing, including Chase Elliott, the defending champ. So busy day NASCAR tomorrow afternoon here on NBC. Extremely fast-moving game. Each team only 3 drives. This is Notre Dame's 4th at the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. Kyron Williams begins with a run for a couple of yards. So Buckner started that drive, and Jack Cohn will come in. This is much more than we saw them sharing the role last week against Southern California.
It is. This makes you feel like Buckner is just a true compliment in the run game right now.
Second and 8. Shot in the middle of the field from Michael Mayer. Across midfield, fighting through Carolina tacklers to the 43-yard line. Big catch and run for Mayer, and a gain of 30.
So here's Michael Mayer, but what really makes this play is watch this safety having to defend this big box fade right here. That's where Jack Cohn's eyes go. It pulls the safety out, opens up the middle of the field for Michael Mayer. Good feel by both the quarterback and the tight end.
There's the 43, Cohn looking that way again from Mayer, incomplete. Out of contact, no call. The coverage on Cameron Kelly. Beat the big tight end. Trey Morrison, the other safety over there.
So a seam route to Michael Mayer. He does a nice job of not getting rerouted, bending across the safety's face. Pretty good throw by Jack Cohn. Just the contact there, throws it off just a little bit.
Cohn remains the quarterback, 2nd and 10. Little pop to Avery Davis, getting blocking on the edge. And Davis trying to back his way to a first down. He stopped a yard short at around the 35-yard line. What a path it's been for Avery Davis. He came in as a recruited quarterback out of Texas, bounced around running back position, cornerback, finally has settled as a slot receiver, and has really enjoyed the role that he's been able to find. It's Williams. That play was stopped, and Kyron Williams couldn't fight back to the line of scrimmage. It was early diagnosis on that one that made it impossible for Williams to gain anything. We'll see what Notre Dame will do here with 4th and 3 coming up.
Yeah, I think you go for it, absolutely. You know, the field goal percentages probably aren't as good as you want, and it's 4th and short enough that you feel like you've got good matchups to take advantage of here.
Officially along 2. Cohn
I like this matchup down here. Michael Mayer. Now it's on one of their better corners, but it's off coverage.
It's a North Carolina timeout.
Timeout. North Carolina. The 3rd and final timeout.
All right, their final. We're back with 4th down after this.
Try them today, only at Wendy's.
Tar Heels out of timeouts. We'll see what the Irish will do here. Offense back on the field for 4th and 2. It's Michael Mayer. That's priority 1. Where is he and who is he lined up with? He's lined up with Jaquarius Conley, the nickel.
You really like this matchup down here at the bottom with Michael Mayer.
Same stem for North Carolina. They bring pressure. Cohn not open. Now throws incomplete. A flag down in the secondary. The pass was intended for Lorenzo Stiles. It was incomplete, and then the flag came in. Don Chapman, who has not played much yet tonight, was in there in coverage.
They might get lucky with a
personal foul, face mask, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Trey Morrison. The penalty on the free safety is going to keep this Irish drive going and take them right down to the edge of the red zone, 21-yard line.
This is where you really want to start thinking about the clock in the idea of not scoring too fast. You try to get points, try to score a touchdown with very little time left.
On first down, here is Cohn. Little back shoulder shot to Austin. Got it in, got a foot down. He beat Don Chapman. Let's check if he's in. Getting possession as those feet were coming down. He got one down quick. Question is, was it before the one that was out of bounds? Yep, he got it in. Job by Austin, keeping that right foot up in the air and got the left one down.
Really nice adjustment there. You know, you're always hand fighting with the DB at the end of a go route, whether the ball's over the top or whether it's a back shoulder. You got to do things enough subtly to where it's not an OPI, but where you're knocking hands down and you're freeing up your hands to be able to trap that against your chest. Really nice job by Kevin Austin.
So the face mask on Trey Morrison kept the drive alive. Austin gets to the end zone. The Jonathan Dorr extra point makes it 17-10 Notre Dame. And a senior from Fort Lauderdale. Touchdown number 4 on the season. Cone finds it with the back shoulder. The Irish back on top.
If we build this, all the Thursday on NBC.
State Farm halftime report coming up. Man, there are pumpkins everywhere. Miles Boykin, former Irish receiver, now in the NFL, is going to join Jack and Corey. The Spartans stun the Wolverines. What a game that was in East Lansing, and the Badgers knock off the Hawkeyes as well. State Farm halftime coming up. Kevin Austin's touchdown put the Irish back on top. That key penalty, we'll go back and check that for you one more time. It's a bouncing kick that is going to be brought out this time around by Connolly, who gets past the tackle. And Connolly with a nice return out to the 40-yard line for Houston Griffith brings him down. Let's bring Terry McCauley in one more time. The penalty was called in coverage, Terry, on Trey Morrison.
So yeah, Mike, the back judge calls this. This is his key at the snap. So he's all over this play. You see a grasp, we're gonna see a grasp, and he pulls down. Any grasp with a pull, twist, or turn is a foul for grasping the face mask.
So that little
see right there, grabs and pulls down. That's enough for a foul.
That was enough. Okay, thanks, Terry. Appreciate it. It didn't look like it was one of those egregious ones. It was hard to find, but thanks to our group for finding it. Best field position for the Tar Heels, but remember, they're out of timeouts, so they were started on the ground, and Jones with a good run for 14 yards. Takes it into Irish territory quickly at the 46-yard line, and DJ Jones with the carry.
Even with no timeouts, if you can continue to get first downs.
You see a light box, not many Irish defenders in there to stop the run. They go back to Jones again. First down to the 38-yard line.
Well, this three-man front is really inviting. Well, they're going back to a four-man front, inviting the run.
Whistle here. Let's see what stops it. One was running. What do we have?
An official's timeout was taken to make sure that the chains were set up properly. Second down and 2. The game clock will start on my signal.
So they were going quick. When we said first down, they were running to move the chains. That Jones run was 8 after the 14-yard. So the chains on the far side of the Carolina side were first and 10. The last play was a Jones run for 8. So it should be second and 2, and they're getting those settled back properly.
Yeah, please reset the game clock to 57 seconds. 57 seconds. Game clock will start on my signal.
Carolina's got plenty of time here. Even without the timeout, like you said, Drew, especially now at the 38, that kick return was very, very huge.
It was really important. And so if you continue to get first downs here, you know, they've been running the ball. But as you begin to throw the football, you get first downs, clock's going to stop. You know, those timeouts become less important until you get down around the 10-yard line where, you know, every yard counts.
The 38, again, they feel like they can run, and they have effectively, and now it's a first down with DJ Jones. So 3 carries for Jones, 14, 8, and 9 yards. Move the Tar Heels down to the 29-yard line. 45 left. Now Howell will go up top, deep drop, well protected in the middle, complete to Downs to the 16-yard line. Tariq Bracy the tackle. Carolina trying to score. They get the ball to start the second half.
Keep an eye on Josh Downs here. You really love that matchup.
At the 16, Howell going to take off. Got away from a tackler. Griffith and Ademilola hit him. It takes 4 Irish players to stop him at the 10. Now the clock's running. No timeouts. In second down, they'll spike it.
Yeah, you really want to clock this.
They get it killed with 7, which could give them a pass to the end zone, but I think they're going to take the field goal opportunity right here.
Watch this route by Josh Downs on the previous play. Watch the patience. He gets open because he knows how to use his speed. He changes speed so well. Gets the nickel to hesitate. Doesn't know if he's going to break out, go vertical. He ends up breaking in to get a ton of separation. You constantly see this guy getting separation, which makes you feel like he's so fast. It's really just because he changes speed so well.
So Grayson Atkins from 26. The whistles before the kick. Listening to the crowd because nobody stopped. The kick was good. Certainly heard a whistle, but in any case, it is 17-13 with 2 seconds until halftime. So a terrific kickoff return by Jaquarius Conley. Really changed the tenor of that drive, and North Carolina doing it on the ground. We've had 6 consecutive possessions with points. So I had hit the pause button. I thought I heard a whistle. Let's listen. Okay. It sounded like a whistle, but apparently it's not.
It's Halloween.
Is the whistle man here?
I think the whistle man's here from New Orleans. See, yeah, a little distraction. Whatever it takes.
Great fan in New Orleans who is the loudest individual whistling person ever.
You've never seen or heard anything like it. God-given talent.
Bouncing ball is caught, brought down by George Takis. 1 second till the half. So in 2020, when these teams met, remember they were both ranked teams, top 20 teams. On the Friday after Thanksgiving in Chapel Hill, our halftime score was 17-17 then. This time it'll be 17-13. The Irish on top. And Carolina get it to start this second half. So a pretty entertaining half. North Carolina coming off the bye week. A couple of different wrinkles. Both teams have played well. A bit sloppy at times, but overall a very competitive 30-point total in that first half. 17-13 at the break. State Farm halftime report with Jack and Corey coming up after these messages from your local station. You're watching Notre Dame football presented by Little Caesars Pizza.
Tick tock.
You're watching Notre Dame football presented by Little Caesars Pizza.
Set for the third quarter here in South Bend. Tight one. Notre Dame leading by 4. You look at the first half stats presented by Little Caesars Pizza. Clean in terms of turnovers, and both teams moving up and down the field. We had 6 consecutive possessions with scores, limited possessions. I'm having trouble getting my arms around this one. It feels really choppy, so let's take each team. Let's start with Carolina, who's going to get the ball first.
I think they've established their formula in offense, which is to run the football and occasionally get the ball to Josh Downs, who's clearly their playmaker in the passing game. They just need to score touchdowns when they get in the red zone.
And for the folks who've been surfing around and watched the first half of Penn State, Ohio State, give them a sense of what you've seen from Notre Dame's offense in that first half.
You said it. It's choppy. The quarterback rotation is 2 plays here, 2 plays there. It's obvious when Buckner's in the game, it's heavy run. When Cohn's in the game, it's a bit more pass. But you just don't feel like there's a great flow to what they're doing. But they have the lead right now.
North Carolina's got a lot of good, individual, talented athletes. They haven't been able to put it all together. It feels like this was one of their better efforts in the first half.
It is. And you knew it was going to be a slugfest, back and forth. Just good, clean football. You know, the team that cannot turn the ball over, the team that can consistently run the football in this game, and then come up with some defensive plays when they need it, is going to be the team that wins this game.
Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame star, safety, first-round draft pick, projected by many, injured in the game against Southern California. Not clear exactly when, if he will be back. They'll certainly evaluate him one more time this week. Third quarter kickoff brought back to Paris Conley for North Carolina. We're just across the 20-21. Here's Catherine Tapton for the halftime conversation. KT?
Yeah, Michael, Brian Kelly told me that the first half of this game came down to Carolina trying to shorten things. He said they're really trying to do two things here. They're trying to run the ball and get the ball to wide receiver Josh Downs. Regarding the Irish running game, which has been very productive the last few weeks, he said they're giving us more in the passing game, so that's what we're going to take. Also of note, senior wideout Braden Lenzy is ruled out for the remainder of this game with an upper body injury. Mike?
Yeah, that happened early, Catherine, and we saw a lot more of the freshman wide receiver, Lorenzo Stiles, for the Irish. So Sam Howell, who came into the season as one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in terms of NFL draft status, slid down that list a bit in the first half, in the first part of the season, but looked good in the first half here. Completes it to Downs to start this drive right around the 29-yard line.
Watch Downs here. Just such great feel, such great savvy, ball control. And that's a catch in the NFL.
Downs, a sophomore, really saw very little of the field last year until players opted out. He had his chance in the Orange Bowl. Shine there, and he has been the main offensive weapon and helping to open up the running game for Ty Chandler, who's got a first down across the 30 and shy of the 35-yard line. Isaiah Foskey, the tackle for the Irish.
We said it, Mike, the formula is very clear for this team. They came in wanting to run the football. They've run the ball effectively thus far, and it has been in chunks.
Look at that 2-to-1 run-pass ratio for North Carolina. Howell waits for the window to open. Downs takes off. He has great acceleration and speed after the catch. First down, 47-yard line.
Yeah, he does. The key to Josh Downs' game, changing speeds. And such great feel in zone as well. Defensive ends' hands are up. Sam Howell has to find a throwing lane. Josh Downs knows that. He's able to get that, pick up his blockers, and get a big play for him.
The 47, Howell pull it, throw it downfield for Downs. He couldn't bring that one in as he was trailed in coverage by Ramon Henderson for the Irish, the sophomore, who's seeing more time as they get deeper into the depth of the backfield.
Watch Sam Howell's eyes. Man, they are right there on Josh Downs the whole time. He can hand the ball off. It's got some RPO principles, but he feels Josh Downs beat Ramon Henderson in the slot right now. Man, that's one you'd like to have. Had a couple steps on the defender.
Downs will get a breather. He's got 45 yards after the catch tonight. He's over 100 overall, and Chandler's off to the races. Ty Chandler, chased by Brown, will not be caught. Touchdown, North Carolina. Ty Chandler puts the Tar Heels on top.
Really good job up front here by the Tar Heel offensive line. You know, they've struggled at times this year in pass protection, but run game has been really good. Watch the guard pull around, seal that block there. Running back does the rest, finds the hole, and then you usually have one man to beat. You're either going to juke him, or you're going to beat him with speed. Ty Chandler was able to beat him with speed.
Exceptional blocking and another big play for North Carolina. They've had 3 of 30 or more. That was a 53-yard house call from the Tennessee transfer out of Nashville. Grayson Atkins to make it a 3-point Tar Heel lead. And he does. So North Carolina out of the locker room stays on a roll. 4 straight drives and scores. Ty Chandler, terrific high school player at Nashville. Doing some good things for the team from Chapel Hill, up by 3.
The airport can be a real challenge for new homeowners.
The wheel of a Lincoln is a mighty fine place to start.
On this Halloween Eve, Notre Dame football is brought to you by Little Caesars. Get the lowest price pizza delivered, guaranteed. By Lincoln and the power of Sanctuary. And by New Coke Zero Sugar, now even more delicious. Some of the big players in this game when they were little. and dressed up for Halloween, including quarterbacks. Jack Cohn working a Tootsie Pop there. Sam Howell working on a lead now as North Carolina has taken a 20-17 lead on the Irish, doing it on the ground as well. Tar Heels have run it for just under 150 yards. That's been their recipe for success this year. Irish will start at the 25. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, sometimes you guess right as a defensive coordinator, sometimes wrong. Safety blitz here from the field, though, so they're going to be a man short here on the front side. Watch how the right guard pulls around, covers up his man. Now you got a hat for a hat. Next is just the running back finding his lane, and he's got one man to miss. It's going to be the free safety, unless you can outrun him. But great blocks on the play side, covering your man up, sticking with him. Really nice execution by North Carolina there.
Lamar Morales through that block. Kyron Williams almost had a step to the end zone. Trey Morrison, the last man to get him to the ground, and the Irish will jump into some tempo here after a run of 14.
I thought they were going to trade shots there for a second, Mike.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, nobody's going to catch Kyron Williams if he breaks that tackle.
Williams 10 carries, 41 yards. Cohen will throw it. It'll be brought in. There's a speedster on the edge. Lorenzo Styles Jr. down the sideline. Inside the 30. And the offense is cranking it up out of the locker room.
You know, the key to this is the nickel, Conley. He gets overly aggressive, tries to cut off this bubble. Don't do that. Just get out there and get in front of it. Takes a bad angle. You get in Styles' hands. This kid can run. He's a punt returner, kick returner. Big play for Notre Dame.
40 for Styles. Cone with the pump. Second look wasn't open. Cone takes off at the 10 to the 5. Jack Cone runs it in. Notre Dame touchdown. In a flash.
I don't think either of us would have predicted this, Mike. We saw a designed QB draw from Jack Cone in the first half. Second half here, they're trying to get a screen, pump, verticals. Jack Cone feels the lane. He says, you know what, I can do this too. Watch this, guys. Really nice awareness by him. Man, grit and competitiveness too.
Yeah,
you gotta love that.
Look, when you get pulled out for the other guy runs it all the time.
Right. They'll say, hey, I can do a little bit of this too.
I see the backs of all those DBs in the end zone. I'm taking off. Jack Cone with the rushing touchdown. Longest run for him. The extra point added by Jonathan Dorr. Carolina scores out of the locker room. The Irish answer in less than a minute and retake the lead, 24-20.
This is more than just a building.
On NBC and Peacock.
Some of you have made La Brea TV's #1 news show, and it's keeping everyone on the edge of their seats. Don't miss an earth-shattering all-new La Brea Tuesday night here on NBC. Halloween Eve on campus. A bunch of folks who all dress like Gatorade bottles there, those orange tops.
That's pretty good.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're at Notre Dame, you get a bunch of green stuff. Just, do a logo, and there you go, right?
Spice it up a little bit.
24-20. Conley will take it on the bounce and return it to the 17-yard line. Bo Bauer brings him down. Down to Catherine.
Well, Mike, Mac Brown told me at halftime that the first 5 minutes of this half are going to be critical. He said we need to put points on the board. Well, they did just that, but then he also made a second point, and it was regarding his defense. He was not happy with the 2 penalties they committed at the end of the first half, said they lost momentum, and they can't do that in this game. Well, they just saw the Irish make a very aggressive drive and score, so we'll see what they can do here as well to counter that, Mike.
And I bet you Catherine, he said Catherine, and he used your name.
He did indeed. I felt very special with that. Thank you. Yeah.
You should feel special, but you should, because Mac's like that with everyone. There's no more personable coach that I've ever been around than Mac Brown. His years at Texas, the first stint at Carolina. This is going to be movement. Mac was running down to the official. I think he was going to take a timeout. This is, false start, I believe, before the timeout.
False start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Of course, Mac is also TV savvy. He worked at ESPN for 5 years, but didn't think he was going to get back in, then does decide to get back into coaching. So he knows exactly what we all need in our business as well. But I've enjoyed covering Mac over the years, and so glad he's back in college sports. He still is very relatable with these athletes, very connected to what they are after their football days. Run here for DJ Jones, a sophomore. Not going to go very far. Loss of a yard. The Irish defense trying to respond after being challenged after the last score.
Yeah, you know, it really stuck out to me in talking with some of the North Carolina players this week, especially Jeremiah Gemmel, was just how much energy Matt created when he stepped foot in the building again. You know, during this second stint with North Carolina, the players were excited to have him in there as their head coach. They're really excited to play for him. They're going to need to get something going here to get this momentum back, though, because this fan base is into it again, and this defense is queued up, ready to go.
Lost 5 in the penalty, 1 on first down. 2nd and 16 for Howell. His favorite target downs to the 18-yard line. Ramon Henderson, along with Cam Hart, make it 3rd and long.
Watch Josh Downs here as this inside receiver. Watch his patience off the ball, setting up the route, letting everything declare. He can break in, he can hook it up, or he can break out. It's all based on leverage and who's inside the middle of the field. He makes a good decision. He's on the same page with Sam. Really nice job because they get themselves back into a 3rd manageable.
Also 3 defenders back just a yard past the sticks. Dropping 6 in coverage, pressure's on, Howell throws, it's caught, and it's right at the line, and a great fight by Jones to get the first down. Right at the 29-yard line, that is good enough. DJ Jones working hard after the catch. Injured player for Notre Dame.
Really nice job by...
Officials timeout for injury.
Sam Howell has to avoid very quickly there. He's keen on the run to back out of the backfield. He has to move with the pressure from Adamalola.
Tariq Bracy, the injured Notre Dame player, back in 30 seconds.
Carolina isn't a place you go. It's a place you take with you.
Tariq Bracy, who's made 6 tackles, he's going to get assessed in the tent on the sideline. Here he was, closing in with Justin Ademilola. And DJ Brown on the tackle of DJ Jones, who got the first down. Already without Kyle Hamilton, so Ramon Henderson, the sophomore.
Previous play to determine the line of game is under further review.
Henderson seen more action. So the line to gain, the first down was at the 28-yard line, if I remember where the sticks were. They've been moved. They marked the ball at the 29 for the first down. It was a 3rd down play. And let's watch it again. The yellow line's not official. Let's see where the knee is down, where the ball is. Kept those legs grinding. Yeah, he kept moving his legs. I thought that was, I almost called it at the 30-yard line, the way it was moving, but peek in replay. Bob Welch, our replay official, taking a closer look at it. You get a sense to see what Dwayne Height is looking at as well. Dwayne's the on-field referee. No body part, shin, knee. Let's see, what's the knee there? Is it down or not down yet? Not.
It does look like his knee is down right there.
From that side it does. There. And then the knee comes down the second time, so we'll see if they can piece that together. And they get the looks at all these angles, so what we just showed you, they're looking at. And Terry McCauley, is this one of those where you can stitch or piece them together with that multiple look that we just saw?
Yeah, I think so, Mike. It appears that knee is down and the ball is short of the 28-yard line. So they should reverse this to a short of the line of game.
And it was one of the advantages of having the line to gain or the down markers on a full yard line, because the sticks have already moved. They've moved up to the 29-yard line. First time the game has actually come to a bit of a pause. It's been like up and down, back and forth basketball more than a game settling in. And we will do what they're trying to do, stitch together the two looks at the same time. So the one on the left shows you the knee down, and then the one on the right shows you, we flip it. Wow, that's cool, guys. Where the ball is when that happens. The line to gain was the 28-yard line. And it's still darn close. And that's what they were trying to do. And we've hit the 3-minute mark of the review, as you see in there as well.
Do they have a time limit?
No, Terry, they used to in the NFL, right?
Well, they still do in the NFL, but it's been obliterated. But they want.
It was good in theory.
Yes, they suggest that these in college be done within 2 minutes, and obviously I think we're approaching about 3.5 right now. But you can use the Notre Dame player
after
as a
further
frame of
review.
reference.
The ball carrier was down at the 27.5-yard line, just short of the line of gain. It will be 4th down.
So it's 4.5 yards, and then there's a decision to make. You're at your own 27.5, so replay stops it to give them a good look, and the punting unit's going to come on.
It gave you the impression that they were thinking about it.
Yeah, for a second there, right? Mac Brown, he said for all of his time around, he does really enjoy analytics and all that. He said one of the differences is the guys who do the analytics, they don't have to answer the question to the alumni on a Zoom. So, in any case, there was a second here to stop on the sideline. There was some smoke coming from the Notre Dame sideline. I don't know if it was one of the portable heaters. And we'll get everybody away from there to dissipate. A little cloud came up and is now risen off the southeast corner of the stadium. So after that bizarre 4.5 minutes, here's a punt from Ben Kiernan. Williams going to let it go. Last minute he decided that was a little odd coming in, and great job by Kiernan to put the right blinker on and send it out of bounds at the 19-yard line. He's thinking about it. Couldn't get away. Oh, boy. That was close. Close call there. Close call on the sidelines. Get away from there, gang. On fire.
Voice Monday and Tuesday on NBC.
Halloween night in Minneapolis, the Cowboys will head to Minnesota. It's been a great start for Dallas, but interesting to watch the injury situation with Dak Prescott coming off the calf injury and the bye week. When we join you for Football Night in America at 7 Eastern, it's right when the inactive players are announced. We'll see if Dak will play game time decision with that calf injury. If not, Cooper Rush would get the start against Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Sunday Night Football, tomorrow night on NBC. Kyron Williams twisting with a first down run for 11 to the 30-yard line. Irish first down.
Well, that's what you love to see. Anytime you can get the ball to Kyron Williams with a lane or in space, this guy's going to get yards after contact. It's amazing. He's getting about 2/3 of his yards after contact. His physicality, his ability to run through tackles, it's pretty uncanny.
2 yards tonight. Going to the air, looking deep downfield. Styles down there. Couldn't bring it in, nearly intercepted. Had a chance as he got deep in the secondary. Had his hands on it. Don Chatton, who's been beaten a couple of times tonight, was beaten there in coverage as well.
Really like Jack Cohn's eyes here. He's looking left at Michael Mayer, but then watch this safety right here. Takes that post to open up the deep post for Styles. Well, I know you're a freshman. You got to make that play.
Second and 10. It's Williams bouncing to the outside. Got a second block from Matt Salerno, the backup receiver and to the 45-yard line. Salerno, who's only in because of the injuries, on the edge through a nice block to Spring Williams.
Look at the patience here by Kyron Williams. Nothing inside. We're going to bounce it. Hey, just go ahead and tell him who to block, too. Point him out. Avery Davis doing the dirty work.
Salerno, the former walk-on, seeing some action, getting involved. Pressure comes to the 44. Cone protected. Williams blocked, then released, and gets 8 yards out of it into North Carolina territory. Oh, and he's grabbing his leg as he was spun into the bench area. So Kyron Williams, who has been so integral to this Notre Dame offense and such a good player, spun awkwardly on the sideline, and immediately Rob Hunt and the athletic training staff is looking at Notre Dame's top offensive option. Going out of bounds here, Cedric Gray. Pulls him down and the leg was pinned underneath as he got twisted back. He will go into the medical tent to get looked at. I happened to see the athletic trainer for Notre Dame, Rob Hunt, on Thursday as we were going to practice, and he harkened back to some 6 years ago when Notre Dame went through a spate of injuries like this year. The Irish have lost several players. We mentioned Joe Wilkins earlier. The injury to Michael Mayer had him out. Now Kyle Hamilton and Kyron Williams, arguably the best player on each side of the ball for Notre Dame, both out of this game with injury. So here's the freshman, Logan Diggs. He cuts it upfield, and Diggs takes it to the 42-yard line for a Notre Dame first down.
Diggs has really done a nice job when he's come in the game back at Virginia Tech. And then since then, he's got a lot of patience in his running style as well, which I think fits this Notre Dame scheme really, really well with the way they like to double team these blocks up front and allow the back the opportunity to really read, go inside, bounce it outside. He's a great fit.
On first down, Cone throws it on the cross at Styles, the freshman, inside the 20-yard line to the 16 and a first down. As the freshman class for Notre Dame carrying the load in a big spot in the third quarter of this one.
They've got to be really excited about what they've got here in Styles. Watch how he slips through the line here to get across the field, just finding lanes. Jack Cone, nice job getting up and over. You can see his speed and acceleration too once he gets the ball in his hands, Mike.
No doubt. Third catch for Styles. He has 74 yards on the night. Bounce to the left. And a good move by Diggs inside the 10, and Diggs lowers the shoulder. He'll be marked down at the 8-yard line. Kyron Williams out of the tent and then back in for a second look. As that happens on the Irish sideline, Tyler Buckner comes in with Notre Dame in the red zone on offense.
You get the feeling they got some rhythm going with the run game. So bring in Buckner. I would expect there to be more and more run here. Just keep pounding them, get the ball in the end zone.
2nd and 1 from the 8. Freshman quarterback, freshman running back. Buckner gives Diggs first down to the 4-yard line. And to that, freshman left tackle, freshman wide receiver as well. There is Williams on the bench, on the sideline, telling guys he's ready to get back in there. That's encouraging to see for Notre Dame fans, for football fans. Terrific player to watch.
Absolutely. Really the heart and soul of this team, too. Look at that energy. You gotta love it.
First and goal for the Irish at the 3. Carolina running around on defense. Inside it is Diggs, but a flag down in the back.
Yeah, you see a couple flags. Looks like they might
illegal substitution. Yeah. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Still, first down.
Well, they were running around. They had 12. So Buckner's been in there for 10 snaps. 9 of them have been runs.
And his one pass play was just kicking it out to Avery Davis when they weren't covered down and then running it for a touchdown. But look, that's what the threat of his running gives you is all of a sudden These DBs have double responsibility.
Diggs pounding towards the goal line. He will get stopped a bit short at the 1. That was first and goal. Second down coming up. The Irish run quickly to flip the receivers to the right side of the field. The 4 eligible receivers to the right. Buckner keeps it, and he'll be brought down just shy of the goal line. Tamon Fox, 6th-year player for North Carolina, brings him down. Buckner comes out. Jack Cohn comes in at quarterback for 3rd and goal. And the Irish will huddle up here.
Pulling off the wristband, that makes you feel like they got something exotic coming here.
Lance Taylor, the running back coach, just hanging out there for the moment with Kyron Williams. 2 backs in. They go Diggs over the top and in. Logan Diggs for the touchdown.
Good to see this young man here. He's been the bell cow in this drive. A lot of hard yards. Nice job up front this entire drive by the offensive line. Firing out. Give him that lane over the top to jump over. Really good drive by Notre Dame here. These last 2 to respond to that quick strike by UNC coming out at halftime.
For the 5.5-minute Irish drive, the longest of the night, capped off by Diggs. And now Jonathan Dorr. And the lead is 11 at 31-20. First time in his college career into the end zone for a touchdown. Tonight the freshman has stepped up. Logan Diggs into the end zone. Notre Dame up 11.
We've come a long, long.
It's really one of the special games when played on this campus. Notre Dame against Navy. We'll have it for you next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on NBC, and of course streaming on Peacock. It'll be presented by Gillette. We'll tell you the story of the game next week, but essentially, Father Hesburgh said many years ago, former president of Notre Dame, if it wasn't for the Navy, we would have had to close Notre Dame, the entirety of the university, within a year. Dates back to World War II and how the Naval Academy had a massive role in keeping Notre Dame open as a school during World War II. It's one of the reasons they play every year. We'll have it for you here Saturday on NBC. Time now for Above the Rest, brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs.
Josh Downs does so much for this offense. Here he's just window dressing, opening up things for others. Big 3rd down threat. Again, his ability to change speeds, option routes, set up these screens, and then his run after the catch. Watch here, patience on the option route. Such a good decision maker. He can break in, break out, hook it up. He is such a weapon in this offense. He gets 40% of the targets. They move him around all over the place. He's got such a great feel for the game, so savvy in his route running ability.
Going to need him here. Howell, double clutch, firing sideline. It is caught but out of bounds by Kamari Morales, who had the great block on the touchdown earlier. Let's see. Hang on a second. I heard a conversation over there. Maybe Morales got down. I thought he came down the sideline. Let's take a peek. Does he get something down here first? No. Okay. He's out of bounds. They're still talking over there. Morales is looking. He's looking. They called it a catch on the sideline.
And rolling on the field is a catch for a first down.
And the previous play will be
rolling on the field is a completion for a first down. The previous play is under further review.
I assume this will be a quick one.
Good catch. Love seeing those high back shoulders to tight ends.
You throw a few in your day?
Love that matchup. You can turn that ball loose every time.
You want to text Jimmy Graham on the way home? Just say, hey, man, I was thinking about you tonight.
I miss you, bud. Something happened tonight that just made me think about you.
You bring that up, and we see the back shoulder throws now with the tall receivers here. What is the key to make that work for the quarterback and the wide receiver?
Well, so much of it is leading the corner to believe that you're trying to run by them, because that's what's getting them to run fast and keep their eyes from looking back at the quarterback. They're trying to keep pace with the receiver. But you and the receiver know that once you reach a certain point in depth down the field, that, hey, if I haven't run by the defender, it's going to be a back shoulder opportunity, and then you're really just throwing at the head of the defender.
After further review, it's an incomplete pass, second down.
All right. So that was quick. So you want to throw it at the head of the defender, huh?
Yeah, because by the time because the momentum's going to take him forward, and then it's going to end up being a perfect back shoulder. But at the end of the day, you like big receivers because you can throw it a lot of different places.
You want to pick on great corners like Dre Bly, who's on the North Carolina staff. Pick on guys like that.
It's funny. He came up to me before the game. He said, "Man, you were the one guy I never intercepted."
He told me the same thing. Howell is pressured, got away from Foskey, in some trouble, and we'll just throw it to the bench. And incomplete with a flag as Howell got hit at the back end of the play. And Howell is slow to get up. They were chasing Howell.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 27. Contact to the helmet on the quarterback. 15-yard penalty. First down.
J.D. Bertrand's right arm clearly comes through, so what could have been a sack and a big loss instead puts the Irish in puts the Tar Heels in a very good position with a first down at the 40. Bertrand, who's been the top tackler for Notre Dame most every game this year, will come out, Brian Kelly, with the words that has been atypical of the way Bertrand has played this season. Tar Heels from the 40, 4.5 left in the third. Good chase down by Howard Cross, the third. Defensive lineman for the Irish will get Ty Chandler right at the line of scrimmage.
Howard Cross right here. Watch this move. Center tries to block back as they pull the guard. He swims that. Good anticipation.
As a junior, playing behind Kurt Hinish and rotating in when Hinish was out for a couple of games with concussion. Cross stepped up his play. Howell throwing. Good catch on the run. Ty Chandler out of the backfield and into Notre Dame territory. First down, North Carolina.
Watch what North Carolina does here. Running back out of the backfield. He's just going to get up the seam here. They're basically just running some verticals, and he's feeling the void in this zone. You throw a little window dressing with downs on the motion, opens up that lane. Nice play design.
Good hands, too, by Chandler out of the backfield. Only had 7 receptions coming into tonight's game. The 41, Howell gets it out quick and completes it to Kamari Morales, the tight end. This one inbounds and a gain of 8 for Morales.
North Carolina's got some good tempo going. A lot more pass in this drive than what we've seen thus far. It's been a lot of run. Down 11 points at this point. You still have plenty of time, but this is a very important drive for them in this sequence. If they can go down and get 7 points here, narrow this thing to a tight one-possession game, they just need to stop them on defense.
Second and 2, pull it out, throw it high and incomplete. Trying to get Antoine Green coming out of the slot. You see Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator over there on the sideline. They got their signs, they got like donuts and people and all that. But they also have a human shield over there. Jefferson Bose, 14, the quarterback, back in court. He's like a human shield for the offensive coordinator.
It's gone to a whole nother level of signaling in college football.
Third and 2, they try the shot play downfield. It's wide open for the touchdown for Green. So they fake the screen, and Green streaks down the sideline. And Carolina uses the penalty on Notre Dame to walk it down the field and get back in it.
Yeah, so you saw Notre Dame try to do this as well. They're going to attempt to throw or disguise a screen here, to the outside most receiver. And then you run 2 verticals. You put the safety in a bind. He's got to cover one or the other. Quarterback's job. Go inside out. Nice read by Sam.
And Grayson Atkins adds the extra point. A lot of points here in this third quarter. Antoine Green gets his 2nd touchdown of the year. Shot downfield and makes it 31-27.
Yeah, so to take a better look at this, they're faking the screen with the outside most receiver here. They're going to pop him back. You're going to get the DBs to react, and then you're going to get 2 verticals running on one guy. You put him in a bind. He can only cover one. The other two, they react to the screen pump. Wide open receiver outside. Again, really good play design offensively here by North Carolina. Done 2 of these now to get some big plays in the vertical passing game. Something we knew they could do coming into this game. They've had a big emphasis on the run thus far. But that was a drive they really needed to cut this to 4 points. Tight 1-possession game. But this defense for North Carolina needs to come up with a stop. 4 consecutive scoring drives by Notre Dame at this point.
Couldn't tell if it was Pryor or Henderson, 10 or 11 out there, but really confusion on that as well with an inexperienced player. Irish take over the 25-yard line.
This is called momentum. And there's no off-season. It's work that builds on itself. Over and over and over again. Because the only way is through.
So you might remember big plays were a problem for Notre Dame early in the season. They've been a staple of North Carolina this season, much like last season, and they've continued. Second coming into tonight with 25 30-plus yard plays, 4 of them tonight, including that touchdown. Buckner's the quarterback, and we have a flag, a pre-snap flag on the Irish. The 3rd penalty on Notre Dame's offense tonight.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. First down.
3 of the 5 linemen with a flag. Now Andrew Christoffen, the left guard. So the entire interior starting offensive line has picked up flags here tonight. So 1st and 15, it'll be Jack Cohn instead of Buckner now. Good numbers for the Irish starting quarterback, 15 of 20 for 205. Also has a rushing touchdown. And back in the game is Kyron Williams with a run of 7. Cameron Kelly with a tackle.
Notre Dame has had great rhythm these last 5 drives in a row. Running the ball effectively, getting some big plays in the run game. Also with some big play opportunities in the pass game.
We haven't seen Chris Tyree in a running roll, just kickoff returns coming back from turf toe. Cohn protected, but inaccurate that time to Michael Mayer. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, you can tell from Jack Cohn's reaction, he just missed the throw. Michael Mayer has been somewhat quiet today, but definitely a guy here down the stretch that is a matchup, favorable matchup for you, and a guy you just can't get the ball into his hands enough. He's so good right after the catch. And really good matchup for you.
Cohn in trouble, just throws that screen at the feet of Kyron Williams and incomplete. As Gemmel has some
foul for intentional grounding. Number 23 was in the area. 4th down.
And a very quick 3 and out. The Carolina defense, like you said, Drew, after the score, backs it up with a stop.
Absolutely, and they needed this. Gemmel on the pressure. You know, if you're Jack Cohn here, you feel the pressure, and it's a screen. Just gain depth. You're going to end up getting hit. That's fine. Just try to buy time and get the ball to Kyron. He's trying to navigate his way out there. That's what you do on a screen. A lot of times, linemen are shedding their blocks. You're letting free blitzers come, and you just have to find a way to get the ball to the running back.
Second punt of the night for Jay Bramlett of the Irish. Great in terms of distance, goes out of bounds with just a 34-yard punt. It'll be marked over at the 40-yard line. So Notre Dame's offense had it rolling. That's the first punt since the first drive of the game. But like a play, and you never know which one can flip momentum. And that roughing the passer penalty when North Carolina was on its heels gave them momentum to score, stop, now that they got the ball, trying to take the lead.
It did, but I give North Carolina credit right now. Defensively, they gave up 5 consecutive scoring drives. Yep. It looked like Notre Dame was starting to run away with it, but North Carolina comes back, puts together a good drive, couple big plays, and now they're about to go on a drive here to potentially take the lead.
And build up some confidence as well with Sam Howell. Junior quarterback. He got away from 2 Irish defenders, cannot get away from the 3rd. Justin Ademilola will bring down Howell, who threw a shoe after a gain of 3.
That was pretty nifty. So he feels the corner pressure. He's going to try to throw the RPO. Doesn't have the throwing lane, but he gets them off their feet. Positive plays. Just avoid the negative plays.
Second and 6, Irish bringing pressure again. Howell steps up, takes off, made 2 men miss, got a first down and more. Howell slides down at the 45-yard line. Pocket awareness, elusiveness, dozen yards for Howell there.
Real niftiness by Howell in the pocket here. Steps up, finding lanes, making guys miss, picking up blocks. I mean, it looks real comfortable when he's running out in space. You know, there's nothing erratic about it. He's pretty smooth. You know, 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's a powerful guy. He's not going to shy away from hits down the field. Really effective in the run game.
Give it off this time, DJ Jones, the backup running back. Game 3. North Carolina's over 400 yards of offense here as we get to the end of the third quarter. Irish are just under 360, so we could be looking at a 1,000-yard night here in South Bend. I don't know how good Kyle Hamilton is at charting and being effective on the sideline. But however good he is, it's not as good as when he's on the field. 14, one of the top safeties in the country. Little pop pass to Josh Downs. Reverses field and is brought down. Good play by Jason Adamilola, the senior from Jackson, New Jersey. Here at the back end of the third quarter, and we'll catch our breath and get going with the fourth. Each team scored 14 in the third. And just like at the half, the Irish lead by 4.
That's the end.
31-27 our score. We're back at Notre Dame Stadium for the fourth quarter after these messages from your local station. You're watching Notre Dame football presented by Little Caesars Pizza.
Tick-tock.
Our app. Download now.
Aerial coverage on this Saturday night in South Bend brought to you by Geico. Notre Dame Stadium. On this night with the temperature in the high 40s now. Our score by quarters brought to you by Little Caesars Pizza. The Irish led 7-0 after 1. And the scoring began. Each team 2 touchdowns in the third. Irish by 4. Carolina 3rd and 9 to start the fourth. And Sam Howell throws. Downs couldn't pull it in. A lot of traffic getting jostled, which is what Notre Dame wanted to do to him a bit. They'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, this is a nice job by Josh Downs setting this up. You know, Sam Howell had to drop his arm angle, get this underneath Foskey. Really good ball location. Had a little juice on it. Downs wasn't able to handle it.
Keeping the offense out there on the field. And they will go quick kick. Howell sent it down. Irish would back away from there, and that's as effective as any punt you would get to the 9-yard line. Does it all. Add that to his NFL draft reel and resume. Worst field position for the Irish coming up. If you're just joining us, our progressive game flow Sam Howell, responsible for 1 touchdown, the 100th of his career, leading a complete performance here. Team scored on 8 straight drives if you take out that 1-play kneel down at the end of the first half. Ty Chandler, the Tennessee transfer, has a couple of touchdown runs. Jack Cohn has a touchdown run. Not what you expected, a 20-yarder on the ground in addition to 1 through the air. Notre Dame had the early lead. North Carolina jumped on top. Early third quarter, 20-17. They are now once again down by 4. Irish sitting at 5-1 here on the 6-1, I should say, on the season. North Carolina 4-3. Cohn gives to Kyron Williams. Reverses field. Eludes Fox. On the run, Williams. Highlight reel 1 by Williams. Down the sideline, Williams. Chased by Gamble. 20, 10. What a run! Touchdown! Spectacular run! Play of the year for the Irish. That guy went in the tent to his leg checked out about 15 minutes ago.
Unbelievable run.
Jonathan Dorr, 38-27. Whoa! Spectacular. Just spectacular.
I mean, look at the penetration here by North Carolina's D-line. They have him dead to rights. He comes around here. I mean, beautiful stiff arm. Watch this block here by Michael Mayer. He takes the corner off the screen. But then his speed, once he hits the sideline, you are not going to catch Kyron Williams.
Checks every box, doesn't he, Drew?
He absolutely does. And then it's just the playmaking ability like this. Breaking tackles, stiff-arming guys. Again, he is not the biggest guy, but pound for pound, one of the strongest, toughest, the biggest hearts. And then his celebration, watch the stiff arm here.
Tamon Fox, that's a guy who's got 24 sacks. He's got more sacks in his North Carolina days than Lawrence Taylor. There's
Great job by Michael
downfield
Mayer.
block. You got it. On Tony Grimes, Tommy Reese, the offensive coordinator.
I think he's a little shocked. I mean, he's like, I was calling that to get 5 yards. I wasn't expecting 90.
It looked like it was going to be a loss of 2. Last 2 games, Kyron Williams. 138, 164. Pretty special stuff. We spent some time with him yesterday. He talked about Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, all his inspirations. Brian Kelly talks to him. Kyron said, my mindset is simple. I don't want to be stopped.
You can feel it.
You can, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can absolutely feel it. There's a competitive drive that just burns in some guys, and it's rare, and he's got it.
Carolina tries to respond from the 25. It's Howell. He's going up top, and it's intercepted. DJ Brown's got it for the Irish. He's down at the 32-yard line. First big mistake of the game. First turnover of the game. And Notre Dame's in position for a knockout punch. Flag thrown in the bench area. I think the Irish are going to get flagged for too much celebrating. So flag go up in the bench area after, from what I saw, most of the Carolina players were away.
The ruling on the field is an interception after the play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 83 of North Carolina.
Okay.
Half the distance to the goal, first down, Notre Dame. That is number 83. Unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
That's Justin Olsen. I thought he had left the bench area. I apologize. Here's the pick.
Yeah, a little miscommunication here. It's an RPO. Josh Downs is in a seam. He starts to gain a little width, probably feeling the safety cheat over there. Sam Howell throws it on that angle. And unfortunately, that's not where Josh Downs ends up going. Really good job by DJ Brown, following his eyes, reacting.
Brown's in for Hamilton, of course. Riley Mills, the sophomore, is the one who put on the pressure. And then the flag on Justin Olsen, half the distance, gets the Irish to the 17-yard line. And in the hands of Avery Davis with 2 blockers ahead. Davis inside the 10, Davis inside the 5. And the Irish will have first and goal. First end goal at the 5. Back is Diggs. He'll gain 2 to the 3-yard line. Carolina's got to dig down deep, try to limit this to a field goal and keep it a 14-point game.
Yeah, they've got him on the ropes. You can feel the tempo that they're trying to play out here. Misdirection run play to start. Expect him just to pound it here. Like you said, North Carolina front really has to step up here to come up with, hopefully just hold them to a field goal.
Diggs will remain in the back for the Irish. Carolina given time to substitute defensively. Second and goal. And Diggs left side tries to power it in. Lost the football. But the whistle first. The umpire says down.
Ruling on the field is the ball carrier was down prior to the ball coming loose. Third down.
At the 1-yard line. See, that elbow is down. He's got it with pressure to his chest, and then as he's reaching it out, it comes out. Still in all, Diggs will come out. Kyron Williams comes in. We're 3rd and goal. From the 1, Williams tries to bounce it to the outside. Not going to do it this time. Thrown into the sideline by Tony Grimes, and that North Carolina defense comes up with a couple of stops inside the 3. So a field goal here makes it a 14-point game. And even though there's a sense of going for it here, this might be one where you actually play by the old school book and go up by 14, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You kick the field goal here, especially with the momentum you feel like you have. Defense coming off that big turnover. This is the right decision.
A couple of weeks in a row, the Irish got a turnover on the Bo Bauer play last week and got the ball down at the 6-yard line. Couldn't punch it in. This was farther out. They couldn't get the touchdown out of it. Jonathan Dorr will come on to add the 3 with the field goal of 20 yards to make it 41-27.
Yeah, we knew it was going to come down to a big mistake in this game. Unfortunately, right here in the 4th quarter, DJ Brown coming up with a big play. Kyle Hamilton's replacement.
Welcome to Allstate.
And see Ghostbusters Afterlife exclusively in movie theaters.
Why don't we take a look at our quarterback comparison? It's brought to you by Under Armour. The first big mistake of the game for either player, Drew, on that last drive with the Sam Howell interception.
Yeah, both guys have been really efficient. A lot of completions just in the short passing game. Couple big plays. You said it. We were waiting for somebody to make that first mistake. It was North Carolina. Puts them down by 2 scores right now. The game is certainly not out of reach, though. But you do have to go down and get a touchdown in this drive.
DJ Brown's 2nd career INT. Sophomore from Annapolis, Maryland, who will play a team from his hometown next week. When the Naval Academy comes in. Winners last night over Tulsa. Bouncing tough to catch kick. Goes through the legs of Conley and come back out on a touchback. So the Irish hit 41 points for the 3rd time this year. This ties the same number of points they had against Florida State in the overtime Sunday night opener in Tallahassee and the game at Soldier Field against Wisconsin. And continues the trend for North Carolina, giving up far too many points. Give up 42 to Miami in their last game 2 weeks ago. Howell still alive, down 14. He'll throw it complete for 6 yards. Downs' 8th reception on the night. Isaiah Foskey is injured for Notre Dame. So not just the volume of injuries, but
timeout for injury.
Big players as well. And some of the best players for the Irish. Foskey, 3rd in the nation in sacks per game coming into this one. Isaiah had 8 sacks on the season. He was also in the top 10 in fumbles forced as well. Player who moved to a new position this year for the Irish. Brian Kelly out to have a word with Foskey as well. He was officially given a half sack on that play earlier, so he's up to 8.5 sacks on the season. And Foskey's performance with the sacks had people talking about the Irish record for sacks. He gets up and jogs off, which is great to see. The single season record, Justin Tuck at 13.5. Stephon Tuitt had 12 in 2012. Foskey with 8.5, and Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Stanford, and bowl game stats now count. So certainly would have a chance to threaten that mark. Six for downs on the first down play, 2nd and 4. Howell taking off here. 35, look into the sticks and keep the chains moving. J.D. Bertrand. He's got some anger here tonight. He's trying to punch the ball out there from Howell.
You know, this is just back to your formula as an offense, I think, with North Carolina. Certainly there's a sense of urgency, but don't get away from the things that have been successful up to this point. Running the ball, the RPO game, some of the design quarterback runs like that draw, this tempo and rhythm passing game, and then look for the big play opportunities when they present themselves. They come up with some good schemes here at times.
36. Going to the sideline to Antoine Green. Touchdown earlier out of bounds. Over there right around the 43-yard line. Human shield for Longo, the play caller. This guy, he was a running back, Division III. As a matter of fact, John Bunting, who was the North Carolina coach some time ago, was his coach and got him into coaching then eventually after playing with John. Before John, I should say. Inside run here will be a first down for Ty Chandler. Longo told us they slipped his car when he was trying to learn after. He went down to look at the air raid system of Hal Mumme and Mike Leach.
Yeah. Came to Purdue and met with Joe Tiller, Jim Chaney, learning the spread offense. Combine that into a lot of what he's developed now and what he's running. And I really like watching this offense. They do a lot of things. And certainly he's a guy who is picked from some of the best and the brightest to build it.
The 46-yard line. Here is Howell. Protected here and throws complete to Downs again. Into Irish territory at the 40. Catch number 9 on the night for Josh Downs.
Now watch this route from Josh Downs. He acts like he's running a shallow cross, and he puts a move on the linebacker who tries to reroute him. Pretty slippery. You're not going to get a hand on him.
You like the way he runs his routes?
I do. I love the way this guy runs his routes. It's really hard to get a hand on him.
Chandler moving to the right. Long gain a yard. I want to go back to Longo, the offensive coordinator, because you were very nice. You didn't tell the story about yourself. It was funny. We get on the call, the Zoom call, Microsoft Teams call with Longo, and he says to Drew, he's like, man, I was trying to get in coaching, so I studied your Purdue offense. I could probably tell you every play you ran in 1999-2000, right?
He did. It was unbelievable. You know, that was a great time because that's when I feel like the spread offense was really starting to take shape, as well as the air raid offense. And now it seems like it's the norm.
Now fires into the boundary. Catch made out of bounds, but a good catch for J.J. Jones. It's a freshman out of Myrtle Beach. So North Carolina with Mac Brown here and some success. They've had a couple of top 15 recruiting classes. You're going to start to see these guys over the next year or two down in Chapel Hill, and J.J. Jones is one of them. On the board here for the first time this year. 3rd and 3 coming up. Clock running, getting close to 8.5 here. Carolina needs 2 touchdowns. In 4-down territory, Howell going to take off and take care of it here. First down, North Carolina at the 28-yard line.
This is so hard to defend. But you basically got these 4 down linemen and then the 2 backers, both accounted for with 1 lineman and the running back leading up on them, allowing for the QB draw. So you have a hat for a hat, and then it's the quarterback's job just to find the lane.
Finally, the Irish get to Howell. He won't go down. He will not go down. They brought pressure that time, and finally Howell is tackled back at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, it seems easy when you say, hey, just find ways to avoid the negative play or get away from the pressure. But Notre Dame's really trying to light him up now. You see him starting to get gashed a little bit with these QB draws. How can you defend that? Well, you start bringing some of these safety pressures and things of that nature. Stunt the line. You create some mismatches in the blocking schemes.
6 different Irish players hitting Howell there. Mark with the 31. 2nd and 13, flushed by White, chased by Botello, taking off. Howell up the numbers, inside the 10, and all the way home, Sam Howell with a touchdown run. What a fun player to watch. 31 on the run, and Carolina back within a score.
Yeah, you feel like the game is never out of hand when this guy's playing quarterback, because not only can he make plays down the field with his arm, but watch what he does here. Nice job by Notre Dame down the field covering these verticals. Man, this guy gets outside the pocket. Look out. And you see what the receivers and the tight ends do down the field, too. They know this guy's a run threat. So the minute he gets outside the pocket, what's the receiver do? He immediately turns, goes and blocks the corner. You get that block. You get the running back down the field blocking the safety. Get a hat on a hat. This guy's going to go score.
Point added by Atkins, 946 yards, 75 points. We still have half a quarter to go here in South Bend. As advertised, Sam Howell, dual threat, runs it in and keeps Carolina alive. Down 7.
To you. To 10 and stream the latest episodes now.
Breeders' Cup World Championships, 14 races, $31 million. Beautiful Del Mar, California. Your neck of the woods, huh?
Hey, I've been there a few times.
Well, Friday, the coverage begins on NBCSN at 5 Eastern, and next Saturday night in prime time, Breeders' Cup Classic. Always love the Classic, one of the best horse races of the year, and you will see it on NBCSN, and then in prime time, the Classic will be on NBC next Saturday night. So touchback Notre Dame to take over at the 25-yard line. Kyron Williams. The numbers don't do the night justice, Drew.
Well, we looked at this play, Mike, and I thought he might be done for the year. I mean, ankle, knee, maybe both, but Gumby came back in the game and somehow pulled this one out. Misdirection, stiff arm, and then his speed down the sideline, his grit, his determination, his competitiveness. Unbelievable. And this place just exploded as he was running down the sideline. Unbelievable night for Kyron.
2 looks over his shoulder, 2 looks up at the video board.
Right.
Irish still have work to do halfway through the quarter. Up 7. It is Williams coming back to the right side. He'll gain 2 to the 27-yard line.
North Carolina has to find a way to keep things in front of them. They've given up some really big plays in this half. So just settle down, stay poised. You know, holding Notre Dame previously to a field goal on those 3 run plays where everybody knew they were going to run inside the 5-yard line, I think was a big statement for them. They've got to find a way to come up with a stop here.
Cohen looking to throw. He's got 2 in the route, and it's incomplete. Avery Davis looked like he had it through his hands. It was incomplete. They protected and gave Cohen time, but it brings up big third day for Carolina's defense.
Yeah, it's the exact reason you keep things in front of you, though, because you just wait for something like this to happen, a drop, a miscommunication, a penalty. Obviously, this is a play Avery Davis is used to making, but at the same time, here they are at 3rd and 9. They have a chance to get off the field.
Carolina brings 4. Cohen strokes it. It's complete. And Austin inbounds. Yes, he is. First down. Inbounds long enough to get the mark at the 35. And that keeps the drive going. Big first down throw from Cohen to Austin.
Nice job. Just one-on-one matchup. Kevin Austin is typically their vertical threat, their go ball runner. He gets Grimes thinking it's a go ball. Slams on the brakes. Good timing and rhythm there by Jack Cohen.
Teams wasted timeouts in the first half, have the full complement here in the last 6 minutes. Williams to the left, patiently waits, and gains about 5. Catherine Tappan.
Well, senior wideout Braden Lindsay told me this week that Kyron Williams has the command and respect of the entire offense. He said his work ethic is unmatched, and he said it's easy to play the game when you know what to expect from your teammate every single time. We lean on him. He's so consistent. He wants to be in the position to have the ball in his hands to win this game, and he said that is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yeah, KT, it was Tommy Reese, the offensive coordinator, just tell us just what a tone setter he is for every room, not just the running backs room. Michael Mayer juggles, collects, first down for the Irish right around midfield. Tyler Buckner, it was Buckner throwing that one.
Yeah, good timing bringing Buckner in the game. It's been a lot of run with him, but here you bring Mayer back on the naked boot. Tough for a defense. You've got to defend first the run because it's 90% run when Buckner's in the game, but all of a sudden they pull out one of these pass plays, you turn a guy free in the flat, another first down.
Cohn back out. Buckner back on the bench. Irish at 488 yards of total offense tonight. We hit the 5-minute mark here in regulation. Williams around the edge again. Little dead leg staying in bounds as he gets right around the 30-yard line. 20 yards as he's closing in on a 200-yard rushing night.
It's not like North Carolina doesn't have guys there to tackle. You've got a corner blitz who misses the tackle. You've got other guys that are getting hands on him. And yet Kyron Williams continues to find ways to make guys miss, get the hard yards, fall forward.
Stay in bounds.
Yep, stay in bounds. All those things, keep the clock running. Smart football player.
Career high 190 yards here tonight for Williams.
All right, outskirts of field goal range here. You got to minimize. Defense, this is where you really got to tighten up.
Williams, spin move to get away from Cedric Gray. Face mask pulls him down. So add to the run of 7. The penalty will take the Irish into the red zone.
I see a tired defense.
Face mask. Defense. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. First down.
We said it. Defenders are there to make the play. They're just not making it. It's a tired defense. They got no juice in their legs anymore. Everybody's just reaching for arm tackles. They're missing them. They're grabbing face masks. Notre Dame has worn down this defensive front.
That was Kevin Hester Jr., sophomore. Brad Williams, who is up to 197 yards. The penalty takes it inside the 12-yard line. Cohn milks the clock. The freshman Logan Diggs is the back. But Cohn took that snap in the belly, not the hands. Diggs is dancing now to the sideline with a flag down, and Diggs running out of bounds.
Holding. Offense. Number 87. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Michael Mayer. It's going to stop the clock. And the freshman Diggs ran out of bounds. The penalty stops it.
The game clock will start on the snap.
Well, we talked about the running backs. Lance Taylor is the running backs coach. He is coached in the NFL. He coached at Stanford. Really a great resource for these running backs and has these guys prepared. Tyree and Williams, when they were freshmen and sophomores and came in and performed early. Now Logan Diggs. Andrick Estime is a freshman running back who you'll see at some point in the next year or two for the Irish. They come in very well prepared, these running backs. Here's Diggs driving forward the 15-yard line. And a timeout taken here, North Carolina.
Timeout.
Trying to preserve something on the back end to try to get back in this game down the field. Taking their first timeout. Our aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Geico. Talk to Mac Brown. This is his 400th game as a head coach. He's coached most every place in college football. Had not coached here. First game at Notre Dame Stadium. He hasn't coached in Happy Valley. Hasn't coached a game in the Big House, but he was kind of doing a catalog all the way through his mind. Most of the other places I've been to. So here tonight. Buckner is the quarterback. 2nd and 14. Buckner going to take off and he will be chased down. Quick read to bring him down to bring up 3rd down and a must-have play. Cameron Kelly on the tackle for the Tar Heels. 1 timeout left for Notre Dame. Drew, we started looking at the stats here with Notre Dame over 500 yards. The game's now gone over 1,000 total yards. A lot of people talk about the running game, where it was. The Virginia Tech game feels like it was a turning point in so many ways in this team. And look at that, 180, 170, and 291 on the ground tonight.
It absolutely was. And you feel like that Virginia Tech game, too, was when they really solidified their offensive line. I think that really did a lot for just their confidence and what they felt like they were really going to hang their hat on from a run scheme perspective. So they gained a ton of confidence in that game, the way that they won that game, and you've just felt that build. You could feel that build ever since then.
Solidifying left side of the line has been big as well. They won sack tonight of a Notre Dame quarterback in addition to those rush yards. Big play here. Got to have it for Carolina, 3rd and 14. It's in the hands of the freshman quarterback, Buckner. The 15, pressure's picked up. Buckner throws to Austin. It's incomplete, and a flag is down. Flag thrown on Don Chapman, who has been targeted often here tonight, and in the middle of some big plays. Calls for another one.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. The ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Kevin Austin, their vertical threat.
Correction. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
More has been called.
Yeah. I was going to say, especially at this stage in the game, critical 3rd down.
They're always easier from the booth or from your couch, but
that's right.
Certainly more contact has not yielded a flag. From the 7, it's 1st and goal. Williams trying to bounce outside. He's going to lose 3 of his career-high yards, maybe 2, as he fights to the 9. Clock will run. Carolina down to 1 timeout in 3 minutes.
Well, you really get the feeling that Notre Dame's just going to keep the ball on the ground, kick a field goal, they'll go up 2 possessions, run as much clock as you can, try to put the game out of reach.
But Drew, these are the drives you talk about, right? When you are a really good team, you try to salt a game away. The Irish got the ball with about half the quarter left, about 7.5, and here we are. They've bled at least 5 minutes off. If you can get a touchdown or a field goal, double bonus. Williams accelerates. 5-yard line with 3rd and goal. Carolina will take the last one here at 2:27 to go.
Timeout.
So there's Mack Brown, and he's back in coaching, as we talked about a few times here at age 70. We've watched Carolina play the last couple of years. He was wondering, first off, he got back in coaching because his wife Sally said it was okay.
Yep.
He was working at ESPN doing the TV deal. Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director, called him after they want to make a coaching change with Larry Fedora. And there is Sally, who loves to watch up there in the radio booth. She's all about the football. She wants somebody.
She's into the game.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. She's so wonderful. Known her for many years with Mac and their Texas days. She wanted to go back only to a place where they like to live. They had such a great time in Chapel Hill. Mac got in the Hall of Fame for college football. They went back to honor him, and he had about 200 of his players. And Sally said, "I've never seen you this happy since you've been out."
That's right.
And I put the seed in there, and Bubba Cunningham called, said, "Hey, we're making a change. Larry Fedora out. We're going to offer you the job." Bubba Cunningham, who was a golfer here at Notre Dame, monogram winning athlete. And Mac's come back. He's had to deal with a lot. The transfer portal and all the stuff, NIL. The college football has changed a lot. But he said, my purpose is to be here and impact these kids. I think they're building something good in Carolina. Here's Williams. For a couple down to the 2-yard line. Carolina can't stop it here. Jack Cohn does a good job pulling Williams out of a little back and forth. So the Irish will probably take a timeout with 1:40 left. When there's 1 second on the clock, he's going to take a timeout. And then probably bring out Jonathan Dorr to go for a tempo lead.
Yeah, in our conversation with Mac, such a great conversation. What did we talk to him for about an hour and a half?
Exactly.
Lots of stories, but man, you certainly sense a guy who feels so purposeful in being a head football coach and the opportunity he has to influence these young men, and certainly being a place like North Carolina where he spent such a long period of time before going to the University of Texas.
And, we talk about coaches and having an impact on the lives of players and all this kind of stuff in addition to the X's and O's and winning games. And we saw firsthand a little behind the scenes of that yesterday. So we're down in the field. Our producer, Rob Hyland, reached out to call our colleague Chris Sims.
Yeah.
Sims was a 3-year starter for Mack Brown in Texas. And you should see Mac and Sally's face. It lit up as they were FaceTime with their old quarterback, Chris, and asking Chris about his kids and their family. And that's what this thing is about. It really is the end of the day. I know it's NFL and NIL and all the other stuff, and Like Mac was very honest about it, saying, hey, transfer portal, my opinion's changed. They had 3 kids jump in the transfer portal after their game last week. They had a bye week. Okay, look, we want you to be here, but if not, we understand. We're never going to say anything bad about you. We'll do the best we can to help you find a new place. Love it.
It is, and he's doing a tremendous job, and I think the future's bright down there with him as the head coach and that crop of recruits that they're able to pull from being down in the Southeast. I think they're going to be contenders for a while. 2 top 15 back-to-back recruiting classes.
Jonathan Gore from 21 yards out. He's able to knock it through and give the Irish a 10-point lead with 97 seconds left. Highest scoring game of the year for Notre Dame. Back to the final 137 in a moment.
NBCSN.
Our Notre Dame Peacock postgame will be coming up as soon as we're done over on Peacock. Some other folks in the stadium will have a different type of postgame, I'm guessing, tonight. Halloween weekend on campus. Always a fun time for sure. A lot of folks in the spirit here tonight in South Bend. 44-34. Irish a minute 37 away from yet another win in the stadium. Drew, what do you think of Sam Howell after you watched him tonight?
I've been extremely impressed. This guy has made plays all over the field, both with his arm in the passing game and on the ground, especially on the ground. When things have broken down with the design quarterback runs, he just continued to make play after play to keep his team in this game. Defensively, they really struggled, and it felt like a heavyweight fight, just punch after punch, back and forth, and yet Sam Howell just kept plugging away. A ton of grit and determination. They were really just the one turnover, but besides that, I felt like he played outstanding.
Here's his pass over the middle. It's caught.
A two-minute situation here. They're going to need to play fast. They're going to need to get first downs to try to stop the clock as much as they can since they don't have any timeouts. You know, they're probably going to reach a situation here where maybe they kick a field goal and then go to get an onside kick and play for the Hail Mary.
Taking off here is Howell around midfield, trying to get to the sideline. They wouldn't let him do it. That ball was pulled out, but a quick whistle saves Howell at the 48-yard line.
As the ball carrier was down prior to the ball coming loose.
Clarence Lewis tried to pull it out. The first catch on the drive was to Bryson Nesbitt. The whistle did blow.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need some chunks here.
Down to a minute 8 left. Howell throws complete down to space. Josh got the first down to the 35-yard line. His 10th catch of the night. He's got a $143. Isaiah Foskey, hurt on the last drive, is back in for the Irish. Minute left in regulation. Man rush. He's flushed, and he'll throw it to the sideline. We got a great shot of his jersey, Howell, before he started this drive. That's a guy who played tonight. Look at that jersey.
I tell you what, he's probably going to finish the night over 100 yards rushing, and obviously from a receiving perspective or from a passing perspective as well, he's been very efficient.
He is over 100, 102 for the 4th time this year, over 100 yards. 53 seconds left. They're going to run here with Ty Chandler. Interesting choice. That's going to burn a lot of clock.
Yeah, I think you clock this and kick a field goal maybe. Otherwise, you're running a lot of time.
It's 3rd and 8.
So you really need to get this first down.
4-man rush for the Irish. Howell directing, launching complete in the middle of the field. Antoine Green. It's a first down. Clock stops. It's at the 11. 27 seconds left.
Yeah. This ball cannot stay in bounds. All right, they're going to clock it. Good decision.
Restarts, and they stop it here. 23 seconds remaining. Again, either field goal, a touchdown, or a successful onside kick recovery.
Everybody stopped rushing here. That's what allowed the receiver to work and get open. So to that point in the game, well, this has been back and forth. Those pass rushers are worn out on both sides.
Well, the passing on this drive is past T.J. Yates, who we saw for a while in the NFL. Sam Howell now the all-time leading passer in terms of yards in North Carolina history. 2nd and 10. Got to be an end zone shot here. Pressured. Botello's got him. They let him get rid of it. about a yard and a half short of the line of scrimmage as he was out of the tackle box there. Sack would have ended the game. The conversation with 3 officials now. That's a tough one for safety. You want to blow that, but he's so escapable, and they're going to throw the flag.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 7. The pass did not cross the line of scrimmage, and there was no receiver in the area.
This is going to carry a
Lost
runoff,
it down
too.
at the spot of the foul. 3rd down.
Right, isn't there a runoff in here, Terry? 10 seconds? Inside of a minute.
Clock was stopped.
Yes.
The foul caused the clock to stop. We have a 10-second runoff.
10-second runoff.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 6 seconds, and the game clock will start on my signal.
Yeah, that's why it becomes so difficult here in this situation for North Carolina.
In this case, you kick the field goal.
Right. 3 seconds left. It's really over. Yeah. Timeout taken by Notre Dame. 6 seconds left. The Irish take a timeout just to make sure that they've got their act together. So again, he was out of the tackle box, but that ball has to get back to or near the line of scrimmage. And there you see the tackle box drawn in.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is here, really, and Botello gets on him quickly, but ball's got to go to the end zone or just a throwaway. Is you try to avoid even getting wrapped up, but at this point with 6 seconds left, you kick a field goal, time's still going to run off the clock. You're probably not going to have a chance to kick it onside, get it, and then go for a Hail Mary.
Jordan Botello comes in and makes a big play, sophomore from Honolulu. So for the Irish, they'll win this game. They'll go to 7-1. Again, they have not been the most dominating, the most beautiful performances. This team keeps winning, and they keep winning, and they keep winning. And here we go to November, and they have put themselves in position to remain in the conversation for a New Year's Six bowl game, if not more. This pass is caught. It is short of the goal line. Time expires, and the Irish win 44-34.
This was a heck of a game, Mike.
It really was.
Back and forth, everything it was built up to be.
Well, the last time they met here in 2014, the teams combined for 1,032 yards. Two good friends, Brian Kelly and Mac Brown. You go back to the Hula Bowl back in the early 2000s. Brian Kelly was Division II coach. Mac Brown was also coaching the Hula Bowl during his Texas days, and they had a chance to visit, and they've been friends ever since. Kelly gets the win again this year, and he's standing by with Catherine.
Coach, you told us yesterday you weren't quite sure the identity of Carolina's defense. How did your offense figure it out tonight?
Well, I think it was consistency. We had, I think, 5 or 6 drives that were 70 yards. I thought Tommy did a great job, Reese, of mixing up play calling. And we obviously had some big plays by Kyron running the football, especially in the second half. But I think it was mixing it up. You know, we made some plays in the passing game, which allowed us to run the ball effectively. And I think it's that balance that, you know, is starting to show within our offense that's giving us the kind of identity that we need.
Kyron Williams with the ball on his hand. What does he show you every single week?
Well, he just is a ferocious competitor, and he just keeps playing. You think you got him tackled, he just keeps going, and that's just the heart that he has and the desire, and that's why he's one of our leaders.
Coach, thanks so much. Congrats.
Thanks, Catherine.
Mike?
All right, KT, thank you. 202 yards for Kyron Williams. Mac Brown and North Carolina 4-4 as they head into this difficult stretch. Their next game will be against a Wake Forest team that is undefeated and 8-0. Irish stay in the top 11 for sure, maybe the top 10 as they win by 10. The news is next for most of you except for the West Coast. Our post-game show's on Peacock, and we're back here next Saturday for the Irish and the United States Naval Academy at 3:30 Eastern Time. With Drew Brees, Catherine Tappan, Jack Collinsworth, Corey Robinson, Rob Hyland, our producer, Charlie Dameyer, our director, the rest of our Notre Dame on NBC team. Mike Tirico saying goodnight for South Bend. Thanks for watching Notre Dame football presented by Little Caesars Pizza.
Here we go from the final